Hello, and welcome to Jason Cavness Experience. I'm your host, Jason Cavness. Our guest today is Byron Robinson. Byron, you ready to be great today?
I'm ready.
Byron is a renowned business magnate and major boutique player in the financial service industry, with a diverse background on finance, sports, and real estate. Before entering the business world, Byron was a world-class athlete competing in the Olympic Games in the 400-meter hurdles. Today, Byron is the CEO of a holding company that houses both the investment bank Robinson Company Banking and the asset management firm Robinson Asset Management. His other interests include physical fitness, chess, and the arts. He has received numerous awards and honors, has been featured in prominent media outlets for his success in business and his commitment to excellence. Byron, thanks for being here today. I really appreciate it.
The honor is all mine. And that made me sound a lot better than I think I actually did. But no, it's an honor though.
So Byron, let's talk about chess first.
Yeah.
What age were you when you first started playing chess?
I used to play, I'm not Magnus by any stretch, but my earliest memory playing chess was maybe 6 years old. My dad would be off at work. My mom would be home with me and my brothers. And that's back when the internet was, what do you call it? It makes all those dial tones.
The AOL?
Yeah. And I would play really any game that I can play on a computer. That's how I learned how to play computer games, by the way. And chess was one of them. I think I'll go like Pogo or like chess123.com around that age. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was just moving pieces around that. And I'll play chess and checkers. And I just played on and off since then my entire life.
And so how did you stay so interested in chess? Like what made you keep playing over and over again versus like most kids play chess for a little bit and they quit?
I like anything that's mentally stimulating, and chess is a game that the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. And there's so many nuances and variations that it's like the deeper you get into it, it's like self-fulfilling. If you have a mind that's like interested in solving puzzles and putting things together, once you get a bite into chess, I don't think you ever let it go, because it's a deep rabbit hole and it never ends.
How often do you play now?
Every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
Like you play the chess game, you actually play people or like?
I play people. Yeah.
Okay.
I do chess tournaments every Monday. I rotate I try to rotate depending on the work schedule, whether it's going to be online or in person in Seattle.
Okay. So there's pretty big chess community here in Seattle, I'm guessing? Like sort of, kind of?
I don't know what to compare it to, because
Yeah.
I didn't do this in Texas or Virginia where I previously lived. It's robust though. I mean, it's a serious chess community here for sure.
So what do you say your skill level is from like a scale of 1 to 10? What's in a chess? Is it like master's level or different levels to it?
I'm not a title player.
Okay.
You know, I do think though, if I never did sports, or specifically if I never ran track, and I just played chess, I think I would be. I think I would max out there, but I'm not a title player. I'm not a serious player. In fact, if any random, I went skiing 2 weeks back, and then one of the guys that was with us was talking chess, and I asked him a few questions to see if he actually played. He played, casually.
Yeah.
And I told him I played sometimes, and he instantly wanted to play right there, like right then and there.
Yeah.
And this is why I don't even like talking about it with people. But I mean, we played. I beat him. So I'm competitive, but I'm not a title player by any stretch. I mean, I do know a few lines though.
Yeah. You watched a TV show, I think it's called The Gambit. It was a show.
Queen's Gambit?
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Yeah.
I know this about, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, that's a real good show. My best part on there was like, she went to some high school, all boys high school to play chess.
Yeah.
And all these 16 players thought they were going to play 6 different people. Like, who would play? You playing that girl, like, and she beat all 16 of them. Like, she'll go table to table, just like smoking, right?
Yeah. I'm not that. Or maybe if they were really bad, I'd be able to do that, but not really. I'm competitive. I'm not a title by any stretch.
Yeah. So next, let's move to the arts.
Yeah.
Any certain arts you're like most interested in, or
classical European art?
Okay, like the sculptures, the painting, or just everything?
I'll entertain sculptures, but preferably paint.
Okay.
I just love it. I find it to be kind of uncommon, because the more I talk to people about, especially the art museums in Seattle, haven't found one I like, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't do any contemporary, any of the stuff. I think To me, it's just contemporary art is just lines on a canvas. I can't get with that. And I also don't like the pieces where it's like a banana, a can, a bottle of water. I don't like statement pieces. I I read a book on uh, uh what's his name? The famous artist out of Italy, the most famous one. It did the Mona Lisa.
Oh man, Da Vinci.
Yeah, Leonardo da Vinci. I read a book on him, and that really opened my eyes to how talented like these artists are and were. Um, what they were functional geniuses across multiple topics, and they just concentrated it and displayed it in the form of art on a canvas. And after reading that book, it really made me get a greater appreciation for it. And I read that I think in 2015, somewhere around there. And ever since then, I've just been all in on it.
So you spent some time in Europe. Were you able to do any of the art museums in Europe?
Nah.
No.
Every time I'm in Europe, it was for track. And no, any track athlete would tell you when you're traveling for a track meet, you don't have time to really have fun. It's there for work.
You got to go back. There's so many great museums, like the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam.
Have you been?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I've been there. I pretty much all the museums in Europe I've been to.
Which one is your favorite?
Man, I want to say the Rijksmuseum.
Rijksmuseum.
Yeah, Rijks. It's the one where it's in Amsterdam. I can't remember the guy that he had this penny called the Night Watch. That's real famous. I like that one. The ones in Florence are really good too.
I would imagine Florence for sure.
Good. Of course, the Louvre's great, but Louvre's just so huge, right? There's no way to do it in one day. Like you pretty much got, even nothing you live there in Paris, you can see everything, right?
Yeah. Once I become of more means, I definitely want to be a full-time collector. And I know that's very stereotypical for bankers to start collecting art after a while. But listen, one thing that I can tell you as I get older now is that the things that I used to judge as a child about what older people would do, I'm starting to understand why older people do it now.
Yeah, definitely. So next question. So you talk about, Leonardo da Vinci, all those people from the olden days were like geniuses. Do you think humans are getting like smarter or better evolved, or we pretty much the same humans we were like thousands of years ago?
This isn't backed by any data, but I think the human intelligence has been stagnant. There's been geniuses throughout the entire history of time. Only thing that changed is the resources available, technology. Sometimes you can be a genius, but just not have the right fit. You could be right person, wrong place. I actually think that's the majority of the case. Most geniuses, most athletes, most anything fall into that category. Like you have a certain innate ability, but you're not in the right environment to bring it out. So to answer your question more specifically, though, I think human intelligence has been stagnant, really ever since Christ, to be honest.
Yeah. I definitely believe, like, not saying Elon Musk is a genius or Da Vinci is a genius, that's not my place to say, but I definitely think if they traded places, they would still be as successful as they were in their own generation.
As successful?
Yeah.
You think so? You think Elon Musk will be as successful today as then potentially like 200 years ago?
I think so.
Interesting. But just in a different way.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like
obviously, he wouldn't be building no Teslas going to space.
Yes, it's plausible. He'll be doing whatever's outside, right out, because that's what he's doing now. Whatever's right outside, humanly possible. He'll be pushing that. It just be relative to his time period.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that.
I think he would be like, he would be pushing to get to the new world instead of 1642, maybe year 1600 or something, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
That's scary. That's an interesting thought experiment. What would Elon Musk be doing 200 years ago? I don't know.
So next question. And I saw this on I think Quora one time. Somebody asked this question. There's like people like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, people rich, famous, wealth means whatever, and they're doing pretty well. The thought experiment was like everyone goes to zero and everyone gets $25,000. Like Elon Musk doesn't have the network, none of that stuff. He just $25,000.
Okay.
And the question was, will the successful people still be successful?
Absolutely.
That's everyone has answered the same way.
Yeah.
And why do you think that?
I would press upon it. I don't think it. I know it. Because success isn't a chance game. It's not winning the lottery. It's cause and effect. Is I do X and then I get Y out. It's a common misconception, if I may, from not successful people, You know, it wouldn't matter. There are certain type of people. It wouldn't matter what you threw at them. Divorce, loss of a family member, car accident. You fill in the blank, and they just can't be stopped. That's the successful people. It is the unsuccessful people who don't realize that it's more within than exterior, that they point for reasons to why something didn't work out. And it's the fact that they're even focusing on that to begin with is the reason why they're in the situation that they are right now. But no, listen, I would die on that hill. If someone put a gun in my head and told me to change my mind on that, I'm just gone. I genuinely do believe that. I know that to be true. I know it. And most of my peers, all the such people that I know personally, everything that I read about, it wouldn't matter what you threw at them. They're going to be successful. I mean, to circle back to the time period that we talk about with Elon specifically, that's the reason why he was still, because he has a successful like tick. He has the knack for it. It wouldn't matter.
Why do you think some people have this drive and others don't? Do you think it's like upbringing, like this internal something they have, or what do you think it is?
It's the classic nature nurture conversation. I guess ultimately, when you bring it to its logical conclusion, is a mixture to varying degrees. I think that, again, if you're mentally in the right place, it wouldn't matter where you are. You're gonna make something happen, no matter what. But you can't ignore the fact that, especially like with young children, that you do need the environment to bring it out a lot. You definitely do. Because I can tell you personally, like the environment that I was in was geared towards sports coming up when I was a child. But if I was in if I was in environments that would bring out more thinking, I mean, I'll be so far ahead in business right now than I am right now. I can tell you that.
So you have people like Kobe Bryant, right? Do you think he was too extreme? Can you be too extreme in being successful? Like you came to push drive and like the cost of like not spending time with your kids, your family, or is that just the cost you have to pay?
I think everybody's different, man. I mean, listen, you're talking to someone who lives. I mean, I live my entire life on the extreme, man. I max everything out. I work nonstop. I work all the time. That's just what I do. So I'm very biased. Listen, this is what I believe, especially as a dad. I'm not a dad yet, but I think about it every day. I think if I had to choose between the extremes of being the always at home, Cheeto eating, always on the couch, football, that guy, the American dad, versus being like a Kobe of the world or whoever. Name your extremely successful person that's just not available a lot. Me personally, I'm always going to go for the latter. And I think that's, again, we're talking about the extremes, but I think that's a better example of a dad, because at least your kids, your family, your community, the world knows that you're contributing to the world. And if you have little ones that look up and see you doing that, what's more inspiring? Is it more important that your kids see that you're actively being the things that is, productive to the world, or 100% always available and at home? I like living on that other extreme.
So I'm pretty confident I know how you answer the question by ask anyway, right? Yeah. So you have two options. One option is like live like 80 years old, have an average life, sleep 8 hours a day, and we like a couple generations down, no one's gonna know about you. Or you live to 50, successful in everything, and plus you don't have to sleep, right? You're never tired, right? You can be up 24 hours a day doing stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then you do something to make either you cure cancer or something how you improve humanity, 20,000 fold, but you die at 50. Which one would you pick?
I'm down at 50.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's crazy. I'm making this number up, but I probably like 95% of people ask that question say they want to live to 80.
Why is that?
That's
so depressing.
Yeah. One thing that they can't know the fact that I said, it's not you don't sleep, it's like you're never tired, so you don't need to sleep, right?
Mm-hmm.
They can't get over that fact, right? And then this fact, well, that's 30 years that I'm not alive, right? But you've lived so many years in those 50, right?
Yeah.
That's so many, it is depressing. Like so many people like say, no, I live to 80.
I have a question. So when they say that, are these conversations that you have on the podcast or just out and about?
Everywhere. Just, just pop my head. That's any podcast, like different people,
Respectfully, are these like just the normal human being, like they do the normal thing?
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, we get the, of course, I mean, you talk to any high performer, I think they're taking the 50-year-old route, because I mean, who do we remember more? Chris down the street or Alexander the Great?
Yeah.
And he died at 32.
Yeah. Centuries ago, probably more than centuries ago.
Yeah. Yeah. And people talk about him even to this day.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about leaving your mark on the world and getting more done per year that you're alive versus living 5 years.
Yeah.
I
agree.
But what do I know? I'm not a philosopher. I don't know.
Yeah. So go back to art. So you've been to art museums here in Seattle, not too impressed. Have you been to any other art museums in the United States?
Yeah. All over Texas, some in New York, Philly, and then one in Florida. I know the names of none of these, by the way.
You have a favorite artist?
No, I have a favorite piece though.
Which one is that?
It's of Lord Byron, King of Franks, from I think somewhere in the 1600s. It's of him being knighted in royalty somewhere in Europe, but it's very angelic. He's on his knees in the I believe the queen has a sword out on his shoulder. I don't know what it is, man. Something about that just appeals to me. I love that kind of stuff. The whole thing is beautiful. The whole thing is beautiful.
And so you say you're planning eventually, like, when you get the more means, more success, like actually collecting art pieces.
100%.
Don't like, I hate to use the term rich people. Don't use rich people to use that as like a way to build up assets.
Yeah, art is an asset class. Yeah, I mean it's a speculative one, but I mean any financial advisor would tell you that it does tend to go up over time. But I wouldn't look at it for asset class, to be honest with you. I just like it.
Like it, yeah.
It's like people like shoes, and I'm gonna do the card thing too. But art is just one of those things for me. I just love it.
I'll be honest, that's one thing I never understood, like why people collect like thousands of shoes. That's just one thing I just don't get.
Yeah,
like,
not my thing either. Well, I mean, I understand why a flipper would do it.
Yeah,
because you can make money from it. But yeah, I do find it to be one of the dumber things to spend money.
Yeah, I know those are like a 16, or you're probably not 16 years old, but it's like 16-year-old kid in Florida. He was making like hundreds of thousands a year flipping shoes, like pro athletes and stuff. And some they go with like, yeah, it's insane.
I wonder if he's still in business with the market being the way it is right now. But no, I want to do the art thing so bad that I have it in my vision board.
Yeah. Oh wow, nice.
Yeah.
Now, are you gonna collect like known pieces, or are you gonna like invest in like up and coming artists, so to speak?
Whatever. If that up and coming artist did classical European art, probably get it, as long as it's beautiful, of course.
Yeah. So how do you your interest in art start?
It's 2015, 2016, somewhere around after I read the book. Well, actually, no, it was before that, because something prompted me to read that book. I don't know. I think I've always had like a propensity to like mature things, mature themes, stuff with substance and nuance. I've always been that way. Like even when I was really young, I always like talking to older people. I don't know. Art is a funny one, man. Like, how do you really explain that?
Like, when you think it's great, I'm like, what in the world? Like, this is crap, and vice versa, right? Like some people think Andy Warhol's Camel Soup is like the best thing ever. I'm like, I don't get it.
I don't think anyone genuinely believes that.
Yeah.
I just don't believe that. I know it's subjective, but I just don't believe it.
So here's a story for you. You probably don't know. So you know how they had the Tacoma Dome down in Tacoma?
Yeah.
Supposedly back in like, I get the dates wrong, like in 1974, 75, maybe early 80s, they want like actually make it look better. Like they want like, paint it right.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had actually commissioned Andy Warhol. He's gonna paint sunflowers on it, right? And they at the last minute they voted no, because they're like, why should we pay Andy Warhol $250,000 for the sunflowers? We have all these poor people, right?
Yeah.
But now, I don't know, of course, not saying how it would look good or bad or whatever, but now decades later, you still have like probably more poor people in Tacoma. you have this like eyesore in Tacoma. That's a big Tacoma Dome, right?
Yeah, Tacoma. I will say this about Tacoma. There's a lot of opportunity in Tacoma.
Yes, it is.
Tacoma is somewhere where, at least for my firm, that we put a lot of focus in. So yes, there's a lot to be said about Tacoma, but the one thing I like about Tacoma versus Seattle is that, well, I guess you say so, but more so in Tacoma is that there's almost nothing but upside there.
Yeah, I think Tacoma has a problem of they're always trying to be like a better Seattle, right?
You think so?
I think so.
Hmm.
I think
What do you mean?
It's like, all the time, like, we need to have a tech startup scene in Tacoma like Seattle,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. Like be Tacoma,
It's
right?
close enough. It
Yeah,
should just be Seattle.
Tacoma, be your like, embrace what you are, right? Your grittiness and your all that kind of stuff.
You hit it right on the head, the grittiness. They should just lean into it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But listen, I'm just a cultural critic. I'm a businessman. I don't know.
And have you heard this one? Like I said it before, like, like in Seattle, they think everything south of the airport is Mexico. Like if you've ever been in Tacoma, like no one from Seattle will ever come, right? But like once the Blue Moon came, but like everyone in Tacoma goes to events in Seattle, right? People in Seattle, that's south of the airport.
Yeah.
I need a passport, Of course, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but
there's a lot of truth to that though. Because Tacoma does seem like the boondocks when you're like close to Seattle.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. They even dress different there. Oh yeah, but I like Tacoma. I just don't live there.
Yeah.
don't see myself living there either.
It's definitely different animals there.
One of our bigger clients based out of Tacoma, they're doing a lot of good work there. They definitely they're improving Tacoma one block at a time. Which is why I say, like, I know personally, like, Tacoma has nothing but upside. It's interesting to see how Tacoma and Renton turns out in the next 20 years.
Yeah. Also, it's to see how Fife continues to build out, because like Fife has all these like the warehouses and stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah. So you recently moved here from Texas, right?
Yes.
How long have you been up here?
A year and I think 3 or 4 months now.
What made you move up here?
To be honest with you, because my parents moved out here. I'm really close with my parents, and after they made the move from Virginia to Seattle, once I got done running track, I wanted to live closer with my parents. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. So next, I forgot about you told me before your parents moved up here, and why did they move up here?
To be honest with you, no reason.
No reason.
They just wanted a fresh start, and they were looking like, where to move to. Seattle sounds nice. Okay, moving to Seattle. It was that simple.
Yeah. No relatives up here. Never been here before.
No, we do. So we had 2 aunts, 2 aunts and uncles, and my younger cousin Bunny, with whom I love her so much. I think the world of her. But no, we have some family out here though.
Hey, let me fix it.
Yeah, go ahead, fix that. Is there anything I can do to help?
No. I gotta get a new table.
Do your thing.
Well, that should be better now.
Let's do it.
And so you've been up for about less than a year. What
Yes.
kind of opportunities you see in Seattle?
Seattle's so interesting. What kind of opportunities? I think business is easy in Seattle, in my opinion.
Do you?
Yeah.
Because you always hear about the Seattle freeze, the Seattle chill, you want to call it, people like don't really
That's a
wanna
real
talk
thing.
to you.
No, that's definitely a real thing. But as far as I work in investment banking. As far as like getting access to the clientele, sources of capital, and kind of just getting deals done, I really like Seattle. I also will say this too. I'm a Christian, and the Christian community here is very strong. It's very, very strong. And in those respects, I think a lot of Seattle in that respect. Now that's not to ignore though the craziness. There's crazy stuff in Seattle.
Now, I found this thing you say like as a strong Christian community here kind of like interesting because like I saw a stat a while ago where it's like there's more non-Christian beliefs in Seattle than anywhere in the United States.
I think that's plausible, but it's that reason to why the Christian. I mean, listen, I never made the case that it was a big Christian community.
Mhm.
If there
Okay.
is, I'm not aware of it. And from what I've seen, again, this isn't data driven, but from what I've seen, it is a smaller community, but it's more close knit. It's very tight.
Or maybe this wasn't like non-Christian, but there's more atheists here or agnostic
Yeah.
people versus anything else.
Yeah.
And some people say because there's so many liberals here, that kind of stuff. And of course, I have no idea.
It may correlate. I don't know if it's causal. I wouldn't be surprised if it is, but nah. I mean, listen, if I take a guess, I would assume that there's more atheists than people of faith here. But for the people who are Christian here, in my experience, from what I've seen, very tight knit, very giving. They look out for one another. It's just really strong, and I'm thankful to have met them, to be honest.
So being a Christian, how does that help drive your values to be like a great businessman? How's those tying to each other?
They tie into each other so much that it's hard to even speak about because it's just it's foundation for everything that as a Christian, I would assume that the ultimate goal outside of pleasing God is to give to the world by way of whatever the mission of if you own your business, whatever the mission of your business is. It's one and the same. You can't do one without the other. It's we talk about this a lot too in the communities, but no, it's everything. It's foundational. It's like breathing. It's everything. I'm not sure if that answered it though.
It does.
Okay.
So next, this last weekend, we had two banks that failed, right? Of course, everyone
That we know of.
That we know of. That's a great point. Of course, being the tech community, everyone talks about Silicon Valley Bank, but two banks actually failed. And of course, can you talk about why that happened or what your take on that is?
Yeah. In the most literal sense, it was a classic bank run. Banks by definition, they have a duration mismatch between their assets and liabilities. They take in short-term deposits that's supposed to be readily liquid if you wanted to take it out at any time. They take it, keep percentage on hand, and either lend or invest the rest of it out. Whenever they are lending, depending on what kind of bank, this is a tech focused bank, so it's more business. So they'll lend out longer than the deposits are supposed to be ready. And there's a mismatch there between the times, between when you loan the money out and when you have to have money on hand to be able to give to people if they want to deposit them or withdraw their money. And then we'll make this situation more interesting though for SVB is the fact that they invested a lot of their money, depositors' money, into long duration treasuries. So the 30-year bond.
That's where the interest rates came in and stuff, right?
Yeah. So they bought them. They bought them back when interest rates were really low. The majority of their bonds. I think the average interest rate was around 1.5%, which is it's so low, it's not even funny. And there's an inverse relationship between the interest rate on a bond / treasury and the price of that bond. So whenever interest rates go up, the price of the bond go down and vice versa. As you know, interest rates are not 1.5 as I talk to you right now. So the value of their bonds went down, which means they have less money overall, which is fine. I mean, they're technically underwater, but that's still fine as long as all your depositors want their money back. But when they had to raise more money to raise more capital for the bank, some of their biggest people that they bank, took that as a red flag and initiated just a classic bank run. And what's interesting about SVB is that they have like parent VC firms in all their subsidiaries. So if one VC firm, a good one, says we're pulling our money, that's the parent firm and all the subsidiaries. And now you magnify this, at a bigger scale. Let's say 30 VC firms say this. That bank is going out of business because it's going to cause a bank run and they don't have the money. By the way, this could happen to any bank. literally any bank. Banking is all confidence. It's all confidence. But what made this even more interesting outside of the SVB clientele pulling all their money at once was the fact that for these same bonds that they at the bank had purchased at 1.5, there were no hedges on it. Now there are reasons to why they did not get flagged for doing that. We want to get all the way into the weeds. I know banking is a sexy topic. You know, everyone loves talking about it. But it's very unusual for a bank to buy a lot of bonds. Normally, what they would do is hedge. They will hedge their positions in some kind of way, whether it's through either shorting the same bonds that they bought or some kind of derivative or something. There were no hedges there. So when the price of the bond went down, they were just losing money, like just hand and fist. That was very unusual. And then, but it's even though that's unusual, it's more unusual for VC firms to pull all their money at once, especially for a bank that did so much to help them.
Yeah, especially as some like as big like Peter Thiel, like one of the big VCs in America, saying, "Hey, I'm pulling my money out."
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a very big deal.
Yeah. And what's scary about it though is that that can happen to any bank. Any bank. No matter the size. I don't know if you saw today what was going on with Credit Suisse, but very similar stuff.
Yeah. And like, I know some people were like, saying, keep your money in the bank, don't take it out. The bank has done so much for us, and other people are like, I'm taking my money out, right?
Yeah.
And to me, really can't blame the people taking the money out, right? Because it's their money, right?
Yeah. And a lot of them need to make payroll. A lot of people need to make payroll. It's like there's the logical thing. And then there's the thing that you would do when you're in the situation. Logic means absolutely nothing when you're going through it.
Yeah.
If you have fears about your bank closing on you and you have all your money there, which
you got to pay 20 people in 2 days, then their families are dependent on it, and the mortgage are dependent on it, right?
Yeah. It's easy to not be in it and to say you should keep your money there. But again, if you're going through that, I think most people are going to attempt to pull their money out.
Did this have any effect on what happened at Silicon Valley Bank? I'm making these numbers up, but I think in 2020, they only had only quote unquote, $49 billion, where they failed had like $229 billion. And it happened like in 2 years. That a rapid increase of money affected decision-making process, you think, or how they did things, or?
Yes, in a backdoor kind of way. And they had to be more specific, they went from the 49 roughly to they were under 250. So I think it was 249, 248 billion assets, which is different than core hard cash. Because if they had that much money, they'd be fine. They'll still be here today. But yes, when a lot of these big money, I mean, because banks are the same as hedge funds, private equity, insurance companies, pensions, family. I mean, they all do the same stuff. They pull in money, invest it out, pocket the spread, then what they have to pay back to the investors. But when interest rates were so low, they all were chasing yield. So that a lot of people, I'm a banker, so I can't, advise or, speak. I can't say certain things, but a lot of people do make the case though that if that was not the case, then they would not be in a position that they're in right now. Because whenever interest rates are lower, commercial banks create the majority of the money in the economy. Yeah, whenever they extend credit to you, that's them creating money. And what they're doing is basically banking on the fact, no pun intended, that you're not going to need to pull all that money at the same time. When they extend you $10 in credit, they only need to have one of those dollars like on hand. So banks create money. When interest rates are lower, they're more comfortable creating more money because they have to chase that yield. Because with all banks compete, all money managers compete on whatever the yield on bonds are. That's like the baseline. They have to at least beat that. So when it's 1%, you have to at least beat 1%.
And all this, I'm guessing, like this basic math, basic bank stuff that you're talking about. Like any regular bank would know this.
Yeah, okay. All of them. But
most regular Americans would probably know this, right?
Most Americans, we can drag this across multiple topics, but most Americans have no idea how banking actually works.
So is that like their fault, the schooling system's fault? Is that something like a dad should be teaching their kid, like
I think
how
so.
finance works?
I think so. And I also think that if you're going to school for finance, or you take a finance class, even in high school, they should do a better job of teaching it. I think it's both, to be honest. So
of course, like we talked, 2 banks actually failed. Silicon Valley Bank got most of the press because because tech, semi valley, tech stuff.
Yeah.
But the other bank that failed, they pretty much failed for the same reasons, or
exact same reasons.
And what's the name of the other bank? Do you know?
Signature.
In
New York.
New York, okay.
Yeah.
That's just like a regular commercial bank.
Yes,
Okay.
they're a really big player in the real estate market in New York.
Okay.
So there's more implications on that one too. I mean, real estate in New York, that's their biggest asset class. Yeah, it's scary.
And so you're talking about how like I would say like how like ignorant some people are, right? On Twitter, like, had some people on Twitter like, well, who cares about those tech people? They deserve to lose some money, or like,
Yeah.
you're guaranteed $250,000. That's more enough to pay your payroll. Or one person put like, and you have to wonder sometimes, is that a real person? Is a bot doing this, right? Because
Oh well, there are a lot of bots. So,
yeah, but I'm sure some people say that. One person said like, in order to have a small business or tech company, you have to be a millionaire anyway. So
that's insane.
That's on the
In
personal
fact,
savings.
Jason, is that true?
No, no, it's not. No, it's not. As far as right.
No, it's insane. I mean, listen, I'm no pro Fed guy. I'm not. I don't fall in that camp. But it's insane to almost laugh at someone for not being able to access the money in their bank account. Because again, this can literally happen at any bank in the world. If everyone wanted to pull their money like that, they're done for. That's banking. There's no way around that.
Yeah. So what was your take on this? So of course, they're not calling it a bailout, you whatever, say text it to a back.
It's a bailout. It's a bailout.
Do you think the government should have did what they did and back these back up, or should they just let them fail, let free market economy take control?
I literally can't say what I think they should have done, but I will say this, you'll understand what I'm getting at. If they did not do that and they let them fail and everyone involved, and they take that approach just across the board, no matter how dire those consequences are, and I mean it can get dire, like to the point where you drag down an entire country. But if they took the approach of just not touching anything, it would, just like with anything, teach the participants to be more disciplined in how they're behaving, in the game, so to speak. But I can't say what.
So do you think, I'm pretty sure that most Americans don't realize how close we came, like they being like really some bad stuff going on, right? I think most average Americans, like, oh, we just paid these billionaires some money. I don't think I have any clue like how, I won't say collapse.
By the way, there's truth to that. There's truth to that. I mean, there has been over, I want to say 500 banks that has failed since 2008, and you never hear anything about it.
I had no idea about that.
Yeah. Banks fail every year. I mean, it's not uncommon for a bank to fail. It's hard running a bank. It's a hard thing to do. Managing that kind of risk, it's a balancing act essentially.
I have to imagine, like, suppose you have like a bank with $100 million, and probably like maybe 2 or 3 may have the majority of money. Like, man, I hope James Brown doesn't take out his $25 million tomorrow because he gets mad at us, right?
Well, if you're a bank that has $100 million in assets, you don't have a client that has $25 million at all. You deal with retail clients, like traditional mom and pops that probably don't have more than $5,000 in their account at any given time. Because I mean, think about it. If you are $100 million, I think that would be considered a micro bank. If you have $100 million, if you have a $100 million bank, you have a client that has $25 million. That's 25% of your entire book.
That's too big of a risk.
Way too big.
Okay.
Yeah. That's insanity. That's they wouldn't even be able to take on that deposit. It's too big. So one thing that most people don't realize is that there are different categories of banks as far as like their sizes and the type of products that they operate in. Most people think banks are just what, the branch that they walk into. They don't think it's any different. They don't know what happens on the back end of it. They just know, I put my money here. I may need a credit card sometime. But it's so much. The world of finance, specifically banking, it's like the Matrix. It's so nuanced. There's so many different players that do so many different things, specialize in different areas, geographies, everything. And I think the world is starting to wake up to that now, because Silicon Valley that's a perfect example. They were under 250 billion in assets, and they catered to they had a concentrated book as far as the type of clients that they serve. And concentration in banking is one of the worst things you can do, because when things go bad, it gets horrific.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm pretty sure it is. Like, suppose like a lot of VCs in the Bay Area, where they gave you company money, you had to agree to put your money into Silicon Valley Bank.
I do know some VC firms that do that. Yeah, which one could argue is a conflict of interest. But
yeah, just a little bit, I would think. what do I know?
I'm not suggesting it though, but one could make that case.
Yeah. So next, let's talk about the Federal Reserve.
Oh boy.
And I could be wrong, but I think most average Americans think the Federal Reserve belongs to the federal government, right? But isn't it actually like a private bank?
Yes, it's a private bank owned by 12 regional banks, spread out across the country.
So how did the Federal Reserve thing come about? Like, just have people more confidence, or like, what do you think?
If I had to summarize it like really quickly, yes, it's there to instill confidence. And they enact their confidence with essentially emergency credit facilities for banks, and by influencing the front end of the curve. So primarily short dated interest rates.
And the Federal Reserve Chairman, he's over those banks, right? I'm gonna get that wrong.
Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, he's the chair. I mean, you can word it that way.
Okay.
I mean, most people colloquially know it.
But he's not appointed by the President of the United States. He's like
he's voted in. Yeah.
Okay. I don't think people realize how powerful that person is. Okay.
I think people know.
Yeah.
Listen, they're
I think they know what's going to know.
You can say that he's more powerful than the President of the United States.
Yeah.
But you can also say that Jamie Dimon is more powerful than the President of the United States. Yeah, these finance people, man, because I mean, these are multinational corporations. We're moving off the Federal Reserve, but like the Jamie Dimons and Larry Finks of the world, they have branches, or headquarters rather, all over the world. And I mean, I think JP Morgan specifically, I want to say they have somewhere around 9 million in assets, somewhere around there, I think. That's such an inconceivable amount of money that people, they can't really wrap their head around that.
Yeah.
And to have that kind of weight is kind of frightening.
Yeah, I think Joe Rogan said one time famously that he has fuck you money. These people have like 20 times to the eighth power fuck you money. I think
it's so far past fuck you money. It's inconceivable. It's inconceivable. Now they would say, this is our client's money. It's not our money. We're just, prudent brokers or whatever. But let's be real. They're the ones making decisions on how to deploy the capital. It's their money.
Yeah. So do you have any take on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency? How's it affect future finances or like anything like that?
No, not really.
No.
I
don't really deal with that much.
Well, it's not a need of my clients. It's more of a thing I'll talk about on Discord with some of my friends, but it's not. I deal with hardcore banking and finance. Bitcoin, I wouldn't consider hardcore banking or finance until it is known or used as a consistent medium of exchange. It has literally nothing to do with my day-to-day business.
Okay.
What do you think about it though?
I think it's interesting. So I would pay attention to, first time I really paid attention to when my barber told me he accepted Bitcoin as payment, right? They're like, oh shit, this might be getting mainstream with my barber, accepting it, right?
100%.
Yeah. I think people like interested in, like it's decentralized, all that kind of stuff, I think it's an interesting concept, but like, I don't know, like, is anyone going to go away from the American dollar? I don't know.
Listen, I'll say this. The US dollar is the world reserve currency. It may not be for longer, but it is. And I have a question. What incentive does literally any country in the world have for to promote Bitcoin as their primary currency? I mean, countries literally over the history of the world has gone over war. They've gone to war over what currency is going to be used. Yeah. If you think that I'm not saying that Bitcoin won't be used as a primary currency. I'm not saying that. But if you think it's just going to be like smooth sailing, and, countries just going to let that happen, you're insane.
I know the president of El Salvador went to Bitcoin. Of course, all the politics were against him and stuff,
Yeah.
So I have no idea how that's going. For
those holdings are also underwater too.
Yeah.
He bought it it was a classic, buy it at the height and take substantial. That was imprudent on his part, by the way, if I may, in my opinion. If I was his banker, I wouldn't advise him to have done that. Yeah.
So how did you become so interested in finance? Was it your degree or?
No, I actually did the antithesis of what most people do. I did not even bother with it in school. I did my own schooling. I just bought as many books as I can, and just read it. Now, I got lucky to kind of circle back to our earlier conversations, I have no issue like maxing out, going all in on like something I'm interested in. And by that, I mean like buying the most arcane, scholarly, like textbooks on it, reading it front to back, and just being completely enamored in it. It's fascinating to me. I love the flow of money. Like the idea of taking money and guaranteeing to pay back to whoever gave it to you over a certain period of time and then reinvested it for and then pocketing the spread. That's just fascinating to me. I don't know why. It's very interesting. And they do it across all forms of finance. They do it in banking, insurance, private equity, hedge funds, all of it. It's the same thing, just different time durations.
Do you have any like finance mentor, so to speak?
No.
No.
Well, I guess over the internet, but like I have sources that like I have podcasts I listen to, but no, I never. No.
What mistakes do you think people make when they get into finance?
When they get into it?
Yeah.
Not thinking big enough.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they get it. I have clients today that has worked at the biggest banks in the world, doing the same thing that I'm doing right now. And I'll ask them, why are you even working with me? Why don't you, I'm like, I'm younger than you. I haven't been doing it as long as you. Why don't you just do X, Y, Z? But they think big enough and they're scared. And I think that's the number one. I think it's the number one thing across any industry,
I do too, yeah.
Across anything, actually, even in sports.
People have what's called self-limiting beliefs.
I hate it and I love it at the same time because it's so frustrating to see, but it helps me out because I'm not scared. I'll do what you're scared to do.
I'm right. There's nothing more frustrating to see someone like, man, you should be like 20 times better than me. You have a potential, like, and you're like, I hate to say like, what the fuck you doing with your life? Because maybe they're happy with it or whatever, but still like.
Are they though?
They might think they are.
So let's circle back.
Yeah.
They're the guy that's on the couch doing the thing every day.
Yeah.
Are they happy? I don't think so. I think they're miserable. I think they hate themselves. I think they hate their life. I really do. Because we're really touching on themes here, but they are probably in a relationship they're not happy with.
Yeah.
They're always thinking, what if, what if I made that decision or, did this career path or whatever. I don't think they're happy people. I think they do the regular thing and they're miserable.
You make a good point. I think people like realize like how your life is decision points, right? Like
100%.
If you like done this or maybe done that, or maybe like, maybe if someone left the house a couple of minutes earlier, they would have ran into you and you've been a cripple for life, right? Or just, I pretty much like no one realized all these decision points, very good or bad,
Yeah. That butterfly effect.
Yes, that butterfly effect.
Yeah, it's real. It's real to the point. I mean, you can get lost in that rabbit hole to the point where I'll just zero it out at, what? All you can do is make good decisions moving forward.
Yeah.
Because you can do the what if game.
Yeah.
To infinity. I
mean, I think I read somewhere some of the odds of you even being alive, like 1 to 1 trillion, right?
I think Gary Vee says that.
Yes, Gary Vee. Yeah.
And it's an awesome way of looking at the world too. Yeah. It really puts everything in perspective. I like approaching things that way, even though I have to remind myself to do it. Even today, I did.
It's kind of strange how people want to think they're special, so that way you got to be more confident, do more great things. But then again, you got to think, like you're this tiny speck, this tiny rock, and a billion other rocks, like.
Yeah. So absolutely. And to that same point, are you into astrology?
Yeah. No, actually, I'm not. I mean, I know Sagittarius. I'm more like space stuff.
Excuse me, astronomy.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I've been talking to too many people. But no, to that point, people don't realize how massive the actual world is outside of outside of Earth.
I think I saw a picture of the James Webb Telescope. Like every day, they're finding like hundreds more galaxies, hundreds more planets, but probably 1,000 more, right?
Yeah.
Like, I know you seen that picture, like all these little dots. It was like each one's a galaxy, each one's like blah blah blah.
Yeah. It's
insane.
There are more universes than there's grains of sand.
Yeah.
On Earth, it's mind-boggling. I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah,
and we're dealing with numbers that are so just large that I don't think it's humanly possible for us to really wrap our heads around.
Yeah, and of course, one side of people say like we're the only people, we're the only Tesla life.
Insanity.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, there's like they've proven there's like been life on Mars, different places, but of course, like what's that little bacteria stuff.
Yeah.
But I think the odd, I mean, you think logically speaking, it has to be life somewhere else, right? I mean, like maybe it's not just like
100%.
us, or like this,
Well,
and they may look like jellyfish or something like we can't even conceive, or
very likely. We don't even understand all the life forms on Earth.
no, like there's so many like stuff in the oceans we have no idea what it is, right?
Exactly. I mean, we don't even know all of human history. Let's just be honest.
No.
I remember at Texas walking into a class. I hate school, by the way. I'm gonna just throw it out there. I fought with my teachers. I did all this stuff. I remember walking into a class for astronomy, and first day, the TA, not even a teacher, some guy that took himself more serious than he was. He's one of us actually. He was actually a student, but a TA was someone asked him, was there other forms of life outside of us, like were there forms of life on other planets outside of Earth? And he like just laughed. He was very posh about it, very condescending. I just walked out.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if you don't even entertain the thought because you know so much, right? Because you're a genius. Why are you teaching me? What is there that you can teach me? This is a waste of time. I'm out of here. I want to run track and do business stuff anyway. This is stupid.
And the thing is, like, like how much stuff do you not know right now, right? Like if
majority of things.
If you go back 30 years ago, there was no, or maybe 100 years. Like most people have electricity, obviously no cell phones, no space travel. Like so I don't know if you know this, but I think it's year 1894, 1895, like at that time period, the U.S. Patent Office was actually wanted to try to close down because the head charter said like everything's been discovered. There's no need for us anymore.
That's funny. That's like up there with like they pull out these quotes from like Steve Ballmer or whoever, and they'll be like they doubted an invention that went on to do really well. Whenever you take a snapshot in history like that, you're bound to find someone to say something stupid. But no, it definitely, the hubris of humans to think that we know so much. It's again, insanity.
What's a future invention that you hope gets done?
I'm interested to see the future of ChatGPT.
Okay.
Because the implications of it is I think it's the most important invention in our lifetime outside of the internet itself. I do think so.
I don't know much about it, but like, I heard like you can go there, like pretty much ask any information and get it. So if that's the case, why even go to school anymore, right? Like, what's the point?
Because it's a tool. Well, it should make school more thoughtful now. So the days of doing like mundane stuff just because, I think, are over. It's the equivalent of like, I mean, you definitely know, going to school and like using a calculator and you get in trouble for it. And it's like, where am I ever going to be in life in which I won't have access to a calculator? It doesn't make math not important though. You still have to know like how to use the tool of a calculator and how to apply it, how to put it into context, etc. Same thing for with ChatGPT. It's a researcher's dream. I mean, I the way my brain works, I just take in a lot of information. Every night I'm researching more stuff in the industry, and I mean, it's just perfect, man. You can just ask it something very specific, very, 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 very specific. Ask it to give you the sources, examples, put into a certain context, and then give you both sides of it, and it'll spit it out within seconds. That's incredible. But yeah, the days of like just having the days of regurgitation are over. Thank God, because you can regurgitate something. We know people who got straight A's because they can regurgitate and were abject idiots.
Yeah.
It just couldn't. They could, tell you the perfect dimensions of a square, but couldn't tell you like how to put that in the proper context of a subject.
I just hope that people in charge of schools realize this. They're actually like changing the time, so to speak. Like change the curriculum and stuff. More updated.
I think they're going to point and complain and cry. Academia, I really hate it. I can't stand it. I really don't like school. It's more show than like substance. All the genuine thinkers get pushed out. If you are original in any aspect, school is just not for you. And then, I mean, me personally, I'm so biased on this, by the way. Yeah. But I mean, me personally, being in class and like just having to play these stupid games with professors with these ego complexes. I just never. It always blew my mind that they'll put that, like the the look of things
Yeah.
over the actual substance of what, and that's assuming that we're talking about a hard science. We're not going to touch on liberal arts.
Yeah. Philosophy, stuff like that.
Oh no, it's all politics at that point. It's all, do I agree with your opinion? If not, you'll magically find yourself in the lower percentile.
I'll be a communist for a semester, get your A, or whatever the case may be.
To that point, the amount of people in schools who are pro-communist is actually scary.
The amount of people in Seattle that are pro-communist is kind of scary too.
I won't say the guy's name, but I was talking to him sometime last year, and about 6 months ago, and he just said it casually. He's like, "Yeah, I'm a communist. I believe in these principles." And I was just looking at him like,
and he probably owns a business.
Of course he does. No, of course he does. It's interesting, so being in a position, that not as in like in a high position, but being able to talk to so many different business owners. I mean, that's what I do every day. I just keep my opinions to myself. It's not my job to give them like world opinions. It's my job to give them opinions on a financial transaction, a non-security one. But like, how should we structure this deal?
Yeah.
So, and sometimes it's hard, especially dealing with different personalities. But yeah, there are communists here. I've never seen this in Texas, by the way. I've only seen it in Seattle.
Exactly. So we're gonna come back to your company, your bank and stuff in a minute, but next I want to switch to the Olympics, right?
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna play a video for you.
Oh God.
Hope this thing works.
You about the blind side? Oh.
So this is when the Olympic trials.
Yeah.
I just want you to like comment through the race, like if you remember what you were thinking about during those time period, like
yes. Actually, let me first say,
okay.
Lane 8, Jeshua, he's a coach at University of Washington right now.
Okay.
We've never talked until I think 2 months ago. Great guy.
He's a men's head track coach there, or
I think he's a sprint coach there.
Okay.
I should put you two in contact with each other. He's really awesome. Lane 7, Karan Clement. He's one of the greatest athletes ever. Great guy as well. Just as he was starting to like be a mentor to me, because we didn't go to the same schools. He went to Florida, I went to Texas. Just as he was starting to become a mentor to me, I retired. So we didn't actually retire around the same time. Okay. Because he's older. He's somewhere around 10 years older.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Lane 6, Michael Tinsley. He was in my training group, my professional training group. Really good guy. He's awesome. Johnny Dutch, crybaby. Won't have to talk about him. He's a crybaby. Ricky, I don't know him that well, but like we've talked in passing, and he seems like a really good dude. I don't think he runs anymore. Quincy stills run. Yeah, he still runs. He went to LSU, and crazy for him. Crazy for him. Like, it's all over the place. But that's Quincy though. He's a really good, well-rounded athlete. He can run everything up to the 8. Lane 2 is the most handsome guy in the race, and Bershon was my idol as I'm up in track. Okay. Because we were similar heights and we had the same running style as far as how we ran the race. And he's one of the most giving people as his character. And he is one of the most impressive track athletes like ever. And
if I did my research right, you're actually the only college person in this finals, right?
Correct. Yeah.
I think, and again, I think most Americans think Olympics, college, like amateurs, but track is actually mostly pros, right?
Correct. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Track is interesting because even if you look at a pro time and a collegiate time, these may be the same times, but to do it as a pro is so much harder. It's so much harder that like it's not even funny. It's almost like looking at times. It's so much harder.
Yeah. So off topic, right? Top of my head. So Tyreek Hill recently ran like some kind of masters race, right?
Yeah, 60.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like you had like regular people like, oh my God, he won this, the race that he hadn't ran track in 9 years. Then I see some track people on like, dude, like he wouldn't even like make it to the finals in college at that time, right?
He wouldn't have made it to the meet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And did you ever watch the Pat McAfee show?
I'm familiar with it.
So it was so funny, right? They did one episode, right? Man, I can't believe Tyreek Hill ran so fast. And the next day he like, I got to correct myself, right? Like, I don't know what's going on here, but like, let's look at these other runners, right? Like, what is this dude running? Like, he's running sideways, right? this dude running straight up. Like, who are these jokers running against Tyreek Hill, right?
Yeah.
It was like so funny how like, man, I got to change my mind, right? First, I thought Tyreek Hill, like, this is badass, right?
Well, non-track people have to we just have to focus on time. So let's just take our opinions out of it. What are that's what I love about track. What is the time?
Yeah.
What is the time and what was the win? And then that just tell you everything. But no, I mean, listen, for someone to even step out that doesn't have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, 6'7", that's like he's like slow walking anything either. Like it's still pretty fast, right? I mean, when you're not track fast, but like
for a football player, it's incredibly fast.
What was insane? Did you see that jump he did? To me, that was insane. That jump he did before he started.
When get into blocks.
Yeah, how he got.
Yeah, no, he's a impressive athlete, just not a track athlete.
Yeah.
It is showed in the time, but no, it takes heart to even show up though, because no one else is going to do that.
No.
But let's not get twisted. He can't stick with a track sprinter.
So you ran the 400-meter hurdles. That's the same thing Greg Foster ran, right?
Greg Foster?
Yeah.
Who's Greg Foster?
He's like a Olympian back in the 80s.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Greg.
Like he recently died.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I thought you ran the 400-meter hurdles too. Yeah.
He may have.
Yeah.
If he did, I'm not aware of him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look into him afterwards though.
Yeah. Maybe he ran something else. I remember him and Edwin Moses ran it too, right?
Edwin's a really great guy. He was there.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. After I had finished running, I met him.
That he won like 10 million races in a row, right? Then he saying like that, didn't he?
It was like 9 years, 9 months, and 9 days.
Yeah.
He I'm not getting to the GOAT conversation, but no, that's I don't think anyone will ever touch that. That's incredible.
I definitely thought track it. He definitely has to be in the conversation. I mean,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, I don't talk track that much.
Yeah.
I'd be forgetting I even ran track.
Yeah.
I'm more excited about what I do now than I ever was with anything with track.
All right. So having said that, I'm playing this video of your Olympic trial. Can you just like maybe go your thought process, like what you're thinking each run, like like other kind of stuff?
Yeah, but I can save you the time because I wasn't thinking.
You weren't?
No, I just blacked out. I don't remember the race.
You know?
Mm-mm.
Okay. We'll play it anyway.
Let's do it.
So one thing the audience not set up right from here.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really engage in this a lot, but Johnny Dutch really is a crybaby.
Is he?
Yeah, he
Is he still running track?
What you said?
He says he still run.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But he was making excuses after the race. And I was just like,
so I was saying this thing where like they were comparing Jason Owens to like Usain Bolt. And it's like you did the timing right, Usain Bolt was like 14 strides ahead.
Mhm.
They say if you factor in technology, like the running surfaces, that he would only be like one step behind Usain
that's
Bolt.
not true. That's not true at all. No. No.
Okay.
He'd been substantially further ahead than one step.
Okay. And people running that they all have different forms. You're not like one form to do.
Well, you couldn't have the same form even if we wanted to, because everybody's body's different.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as far as like technique, that's the same, or like you just get over the best you can.
We go for a certain technique, but when this race, when you get after hurdle 5, you just want to make it home. And so at this point, I do know that the way I ran my race, I was slow down the back end. So if you notice, everyone's in front of me.
Yeah. Okay, you actually failed to go to the Olympics, right?
Nope, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, and then from here, I just blacked out.
And when you're ready, you kind of pay attention to what people do on the side of side. You just totally focus on your lane and taking care of what you can take care of.
In this race, I would just focus on myself.
Okay.
To be completely honest with you. Oh man.
Man, and you probably finished like what 0.6 seconds ahead of somebody else. Like it was very close.
With Michael Tinsley, with whom I trained with professionally afterwards. But no, that was man, I did that.
So next I'm gonna play this thing you said just right after you did your
Well, personally,
I forgot about this.
I just want to start. I knew every author history. I knew chances were that I went to go maybe, but all I really wanted was a shot. I got it. I didn't win the second, so I'm happy with it.
You trying to make me cry.
So talk about that speech you did. I mean, like, Was that right after the race? Or
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It was just like, I'm pretty sure they rehearsed it. This what was on your mind, right?
That wasn't rehearsed.
Yeah.
No, there was nothing rehearsed about it.
And no one just talked about, no, you still live your life that way, right? Just
100%.
you need a shot, right? And
Yeah.
you can take advantage of it.
100%. Yeah. So all right. I give an exterior like of someone who's very stoic. I'm very emotional in a sense. I'm very passionate. Everything that I do and say, I put all of my weight behind it. So to the first part, everything that I do up to that point in my life, that's all that I wanted to do. I sacrificed everything for it. I mean, everything ever since I was, I would say around 13 or 14. And I did that at 21. When I say I sacrificed everything, that means no parties, none of the stuff that people my age ever did. Didn't do any of it. Gave up on a lot of friendships, slept on a lot of couches, had to get rides nonstop, buses for hard training days. I mean, training days in which like you can't even stand up afterwards. And then bus back and, just continuously.
You're still doing school, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So you still got to be a son, you still got to do chores around the house and
exactly
that stuff.
And up until that, so like literally a week out before that, I was in college and I had like $50 to my name. $50. That was it. $50. And I ran out of protein that I would take after training. And I remember like going to the GNC, walking to the GNC, it was, because I didn't have a car, and buying the protein, I think it was $28.99. It was GNC brand. And I remember thinking like, this is it. Between this and the groceries that I have, because the school was paying for my trip, I was thinking, if I don't, if I don't make it happen at this meet, I'm falling back on nothing. There's nothing to fall back on. This is it. And it's just like a lot of small stories like that, of equal, intensity that it takes to be able to do something like that, which is why I don't even like having a conversation with people. Like I had a conversation with a client maybe about 2 months ago. It was an onboarding talk, and he was a big sports guy, and he had like very opinionated takes on different athletes, but he never did like a sport really. And if he did, it wasn't at a high level. I'm not that guy. I could never be that guy, because I know that if you are on TV or you win anything, it takes so much that you don't even see to even get to that point. Not to say we're not even addressing like doing it well. Even to get there, it takes a lot. And because I lived it, you'll never hear me really bash an athlete. I mean, you can have a bad performance, but I'm not gonna attack someone's character just because of something like that. But no, in that interview, that was I live that way still to this day, 100%.
You ever see it's a long time ago, this TV commercial where like Peyton Manning was playing quarterback, this guy was like, Peyton, you suck, you can't do this, can't do that, and the next day Peyton showed up at his job. What are these numbers? You're the worst accountant in the history of the world, right? Like, like people don't realize like you criticize these athletes, but no one comes to your job and tell you how much you suck either, right? Like, yeah.
It's a privilege, to be honest with you, to be in a position where you have a lot of people. Oh, by the way, we didn't touch on at the actual Olympics where I didn't make the final. Cameraman had the camera in my face. I told him get the fuck out. I told him get the fuck out of my face. And I remember getting on Instagram afterwards, and I was told I wasn't American, all the stuff. The peanut gallery was having their way, but it's a privilege to be in that position though. Because if you think about it, if you're talking to a stranger that way and you're just spewing all this stuff, your life must suck. Because I can tell you right now, I am in a much better position today than I've ever been in my life. Yeah. And I would never talk to like a peer that way.
Yeah, no.
Even if they did something egregious, I don't pile. Winners don't pile on. You just don't do that. That's loser behavior. Yeah. That's what unsuccessful people do. Yeah. Even if I see someone, even if I don't know them, if it's a regular person on the street and I see them fall or do something that they think is embarrassing, I would help them up. I'm not going to pile on. Yeah. That's what losers do.
Here's one for you. So does it go down the Olympic Village like people say it goes down the Olympic Village?
To be honest with you, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. When I was there, I was in my room. I was trained. I'll go train. Yeah. I'll go eat and come back. I mean, you would see the piles. They were handing out condoms by the hundreds. But I didn't do any of it.
Okay.
I didn't do anything.
Was the Olympic experience like a good experience for you?
Of course.
Okay.
I mean, it's better to watch it than the yeah. But it's a track meet at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all the shows. I mean, all the cameras and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's still a track meet.
What was it like like walking in the opening ceremonies? I mean, that was insane.
Listen, you're not gonna believe me. So for me, I've always wanted to do what I'm doing right now. Like as I talk to you right now, I always wanted to be like a business owner doing something in the investment space. That was cool, but because I sacrificed so much to get to that point, when I actually got there, I thought it would be more, to the point where I'm not gonna say I didn't appreciate it, but I appreciate the journey more than the actual Olympics. I have an Olympic, I have the rings, but I really don't think about track anymore. I really don't.
That's a part of your past life, or whatever.
Yeah. And I'm so like focused on our different lines of business now, or different markets we want to get into, or now I'm starting to think about how I want to set up my future family. I don't think about old stuff, to be honest with you.
Right.
And it wasn't that long ago either.
Yeah.
Just so much stuff is happening now since then, but especially like today, I just don't spend a lot of time thinking about it, to be honest with you.
So just a few more questions about track.
Mhm.
First one is like, do you decide you were in the 400 meter hurdles Olympics? I'm like, let me backtrack. Like, so I saw you were in 600 meters, other races, relays. Like, did you say, hey, I want to focus on the 400 meter hurdles Olympics? I think that's the best thing for me. Or does the coach say, I think you're better to do 600 meters? Like, how does that work?
Kind of a combination, but I mean, even to get to the Olympic trials, you have to run a time to qualify. But I mean, if we're talking like beginning of the season, how the strategy is like, yeah, I mean, but you should know what event. You only see that kind of conversation really if you're like a 1-2 guy, or a long jumper / 100 guy. Sometimes not sometimes, a lot of times in the longer distances too. If you're a 5 guy or a 10 guy or whatever. But for me personally, I mean, I already knew that I was going to be a 400 hurdler. Okay. So all those other races were either for training or for the team, because at that time I was in college. So I had to run the 600 and 4x4s and 200s, like a conference for points for the team.
And you turned pro after you graduated from college, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, pretty much.
And I know there's a lot of pro races in Europe. Or there's any like pro track teams or any, what is it called, pro something in the United States, all pretty much all in Europe?
No, they have clubs here, but they're not real teams though.
Okay.
They're really just a bunch of professional athletes that'll get together under one coach and will train together, and they'll call it a club. But I mean, you don't make your money from being in a club. Making money from getting a shoe deal and/or running at meets, traveling to meets and running. Track is really a sales job, to be honest with you. It's a physical sales job.
Now I could be wrong, but it sounds like track and feels like way more popular in Europe versus the United States.
100%.
Why do you think that is? Any idea?
I think just culturally they just care more, and I think there's also less competition. I believe, because outside of soccer, depending on what part of the world we're talking about, it's just less competition, because we have NFL, NBA, baseball. I mean, how can you compete with that? That's a lot. I don't think you get that like in Switzerland. No. Don't get me wrong; they have their niches of different sports, but outside of football, they don't really have anything. Yeah, and that's where athletics will come in.
So you're in college. There was no such thing as name, image, likeness, right? The NIL deals.
No, that wasn't a thing.
So how do you think that's affecting college athletes now? Personally, I think it's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
I think some people don't agree with that. What's your take on that? Do you think your life would be easier? Like, suppose you sign a NIL deal with, I don't know, some taco restaurant in Austin, Texas, right? And give you $5,000 a month. Do you think that would decrease your drive?
Me?
Yeah.
No. For an average college person, absolutely. Okay. I mean, because I did it professionally. I was in the 1%, the 1% of the 1%. But I wouldn't make a decision off of that for the average. But most college athletes are not going to do it professionally anyway.
Yeah. Most athletes don't realize that, like what's the chart? you know, for every high school athlete, maybe 0.01% will make it pro some kind of way.
Yeah.
And if you do make it pro, like NFL is like what, average of 5 years, you know? So
No, not even 5 years. Three. I think it's 2.5. I think it's 2.5. But no, listen, if whether they should get paid or not, I'm agnostic. I don't even get into that conversation really. But they I don't think it's going to motivate them more.
no.
I don't think so. I mean, these are college kids.
Yeah.
What would you have done at 20 or 19?
Yeah.
Or 8?
20.
No, at 18
Yeah.
actually, and you get paid $5,000.
Yeah. Or like
15 grand. I say 15 grand. You've never seen that much money in your life.
Or that dude from California, quarterback, he had signed a $13 million deal with Florida, and then they said, no, we can't do that. You know, like, dude hasn't done nothing in college, like getting $13 million, you know, like.
Well, I'm a free market capitalist. I have, if you demand that from the market and the market agrees,
Yeah.
do your thing.
Yeah.
Is it good for that individual young person? You know, we can go back and forth about it. I think on a net basis, no.
Yeah.
I don't think it moves them closer to, if assuming they want to be a pro.
Yeah.
I don't think it moves them closer to being a pro. No.
Can you imagine if NIL was along back from Deion Sanders in college, or Bo Jackson was in college, or the Boss was in college, right? How much money they would have made?
Let's not get it twisted. Athletes have always been getting paid.
Yeah.
But they would have been paid handsomely, yes. But the athletes today are going to make even more. There's more money in circulation. It's a bigger market.
One thing I do like about the NIL deal, so I can't remember this guy's name. Like he was 8, 9 years old. There's a picture of him like with holding a Popeye's bucket, whatever, Popeye's chicken, or the look at his face like, what's going on here? 10 years later, he went to like some Division II college.
Terrio.
Some put on Twitter, Popeye, you don't give us the NIL deal, I will never eat your chicken again. And then you got hooked up, you know. So that I really like those kind of stories.
Terrio.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Man, we're getting old.
Yeah.
Because when I saw the most recent picture of him, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
He's really like he's really an adult now.
Yeah.
Like, wow. But no, I like that example. That was a funny one. I like that.
Yeah. So I definitely think social media and NIL, all that kind of stuff, definitely do some good, you know. Of course, it does bad stuff too sometimes, unfortunately.
You know, this is the first time I even talked about this. Actually, second time. The first time was in 2019 with one of my old training partners, Olivia Baker, with her dad. By the way, I know you don't know Olivia. She's one of the most incredible people I've ever met in my life, and she's killing it now. She runs an 800. I think she just signed with Adidas too.
Okay.
And she's obviously going to med school after she runs track. But man, I've had a great fortune of really meeting people like through track. In fact, I was talking to one of my old training partners yesterday. I could be doing 75 hard together, and I was telling him like, man, if we did this, we would start running track. We would have broke the world record because it gets you so mentally sharp.
Yeah. Do you still do? I know you don't run track. Do you ever do? You still do track workouts on a regular basis?
Yeah, I do. Okay. Yeah. I in fact, for my second workout, I'm gonna run some 200s today.
But you never get the itch like do it like for real.
I scratch that itch in business now.
That's gone. Okay. I
scratch that itch in business now. It gives me the exact same feeling, by the way. In fact, I had a really big meeting this morning. I had 2 really big meetings this morning. Just know they were really big meetings. Okay. And going into it, it felt just like a track meet.
Okay.
It's like, all right, well, I was prepping all last night for it. I was like, I'm gonna go into it. I'm gonna cover these points. I'm gonna start this way, you know, boom, boom, boom. Feels just like a track meet. Just like it. And now I don't have to kill my body to get the feeling. So that's great. So
for your business, like how many people you talk to per day for your business? Like how do you like to do the networking stuff? How do you get your business out there?
Well, per day, I do less outreach myself. I try to focus it more on really big picture stuff, but I'll talk to my VPs every day. I mean, that's who I spend the majority of my time talking to now, or our biz dev guy. You know, I try to keep it in-house. And then the way I set it up, I spend most of my time talking to them in-house. They'll spend more time they spend more time interfacing with clients or the bankers that work in their teams, in their respective teams. I'll focus now, whenever I'm talking to someone outside the company, I'll spend most of my time talking to like a big partner that we're working with, like a private equity fund, uh, or any fund, any fund, a hedge fund, private equity fund, a bank, something like that, or like a strategic partnership, or something like that. I try not to talk to too many clients anymore.
And your company's growing pretty fast in both the terms of money and number of people work for you, right?
Yes. Yeah, we grew over, I mean, literally over, it was started from a low number, but we grew over 100% this year. Yeah.
And was that planned or just, I mean, of course, it didn't just happen, but like, was that part of your plan to grow that fast?
Yes. I wanted to grow the head count and the amount of financing, both over 100%. Yeah, I've always been thinking scale.
So the people that work for, like, what are some of the positions? Are all of them finance people, or like you're like marketers, salespeople? Like, what type of people are in there for you?
All finance people and one biz dev guy.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have two VPs, have a few bankers under them, and a biz dev guy who I would say a lot like you is just knows everybody. He knows everybody overseas, like different governments. When I met him, we were talking. He's like, yeah, I know this person. I'm like, you do
just nonchalantly, like, oh, I know him. Like, you know who? Like,
yeah, and then it got to a point he'll intro us to certain like people. It got to a certain point, I'm like, listen, we got to talk. Yeah, that's how that worked out. That wasn't planned either. That one wasn't planned. It just happened.
So how did you find these people? Like, were you actually recruiting on like LinkedIn or Indeed, or is that come from referrals? Like, how do you find all these people?
All the above. I mean, we get applicants every day. A fraction of them I'm actually in love with. And then for that fraction that you actually like, you have to recruit. Yeah. You have to sell them on the vision of the company. That's one thing that's been exciting, and I completely downplay going into this year, is that recruiting is much more difficult than I thought it was. It's it may be the number one thing, actually. Also, to that point, to all the younger people that's going to listen to this, what they think or what they see on TV of like running a company or being the guy, the big man, the boss, that guy, it's completely wrong. You work for them, you work for your team. Yeah. It's not the other way around. And your job is that of a sales. You are the salesperson, like you're the top salesperson, and you have to sell people every single day. You have to sell your lieutenants, your vendors, potential clients, the world, so they're familiar with what it is you do. And it's almost like running for public office. I mean, you're working for the world. The world isn't working for you. And I think a lot of times people think it's the other way around. And it is dead wrong.
It makes me laugh when people say, I'm tired of working for my boss, I'm starting my own company. Like, dude, you're tired of working for a boss. Just imagine your employee your boss, your vendors your boss, potential customer your boss, your potential cancer your boss.
Yeah.
You go from one boss to have like dozens of bosses, right?
Yeah. If not more. I wish the young people would really like take that in too. Because the people younger than me that I would talk to, they're all about like making the fast money, doing the drop ship, the whatever the thing is.
Make one TikTok video, get 10 million followers, and get an endorsement deal somewhere.
They're worried about that next 10 grand. And I'm like, listen, man, I know this sounds unreasonable, but you're 21 right now. This is a conversation I actually had. Like, you're 21 right now. If you focus for 4 years, you could be in the top 5% of all Americans. You'd be the top 0.1% of all people at 25 or 26. And you'll have an actual brand, and you can take off from there. They don't want to do it though. So, I mean, to a 21-year-old, 5 years sounds like 30.
Yeah.
And they just want that 10 grand so they can put it all on a down payment for a budget Mercedes so they can impress their friends. Yeah. And it's
they get the Toyota Corolla version of the Mercedes Benz.
Mm-hmm. Or you name the muscle car. By the way, I like muscle cars. I'm not poo-pooing it, but it's sad. It's sad to the point that I ask myself, why am I even? Maybe I shouldn't be talking to 21-year-olds. Maybe I should wait a few years and then talk to someone that's my age right now. Because everything I ever tell them falls by the wayside. And I know people who will give the same advice and make money doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I know one thing that's been crazy, like a lot of young people, I was saying when I was young, you know, like I'm 55 now, like, man, I'm 55, that's older, decrepit, but like I have more focus and energy now than I ever did, right? I'm so focused now. I think a lot of young people, like, I got to do it now, because I get older, I'm be able to do it right. But like, I just said, like right now, man, I have so much focus, energy, right? It's insane.
I will press upon you to tell more people this too. Because I talked to a lot of people that I forgot the acronym that came up with it, but basically to work so they can retire and not do anything.
Yeah.
And
first of all, like
it's just disgusting. I can't get with that.
Like when I was in the military, I actually tried that. I played golf a couple weeks. Like now I'm batshit crazy, right? Like, like my kids are like other people. Like, what, you retired, you're 25 years army, just take it easy. Like I can't do it, right? I'll go batshit crazy. I have to do something.
Yeah, I would press upon you to tell more people that too. Yeah. I don't get that whole thinking. It may be linked to the communism talk we had earlier. I don't know. I could be reaching there. I don't know. But the thinking that like you're just not going to do anything, yeah. I don't get that.
So here's a good story for you. So this guy was on my podcast about a year ago. Mr. Charles Ham. He was in Vietnam 65, 69, started his own company, right? You know, retired like 75 years old, right? 2 years ago. He started to do posts on LinkedIn, like doing like little, you know, like witticism, you know, like country witticism, like, you know, do that, do this, right? And he has like 50,000 followers on LinkedIn. That turned into a book deal. So now he just turned 77 yesterday.
Oh wow.
His book was the number one book in 3 different countries. He has his own TV show now. He said, like, dude, I'm 77 years old. I've never imagined it was happening to me, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's never tried to get started, right? And like, man, this dude 76, 75, like doing all this stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone has their own path, man. Mm-hmm. I feel bad. I almost feel for them, like that same group of 21-year-olds. I feel for them because they I mean, Instagram played more of an influence in their childhood than any group. And they're just they're scrolling on Instagram, they're following celebrities who they think are celebrities. Yeah. And they're focusing on that 1%. And they think everyone lives that way.
Yeah.
It's insane. That's Jason. I even had a conversation with someone today that if you looked on their social media, you would think that, like, you know, you see all the gloss and stuff. They can't even buy a plane ticket.
Remember when Bow Wow got busted out?
Yeah. I remember that.
I always think about that.
Yeah. By the way, it wasn't bad unless outside the fact that he tried to make it seem like it's something it wasn't.
Yeah.
Because I really don't laugh at people. I'm not the guys, you know, like I said earlier, I don't pile on. It is the fact that you were trying to flex, like, you know, why? But that's the world that we're in. And because, you know, things are that way. You ready for it? That's why I think business is easy right now.
Yeah.
It's I love that clip from Dana White. I always post it on my social media about how everyone's soft now, things are easy. And if you're a serious worker, you just, you know, and I mean, I even had a hands-on deck meeting with my team Monday and again today about just where everything is right now, as far as like culturally, and as far as the economy. And if when we just double down, get more aggressive, be on the offense, we're gonna take off.
Yeah.
Because people are more worried about the flash, man. They're more worried about getting 5, 10, let's say at max 15K. What does that do? Why go for the quick 15 when you can get the slow 10 million? It's illogical. I don't get it. Do you get it?
No, I don't.
Maybe I'm tripping. I don't know. But whenever I talk to 21-year-olds that know it all, I don't even know why they ask me questions, because they already think they have the answer. You know, it must be frustrating having kids.
You have no idea.
But whenever I talk to them, this is what I'm getting. They're asking the question, wanting me to answer a certain way to affirm what they already think. And I'm like, why am I even talking to you? I'm busy. I don't have to talk to you.
Here's one for you. This is my opinion, right? So, like, I think people work in two categories, right? I'm making this number like 20% of the people are like this, right? You know, I work for you. You pay me. I make this number. You pay me $80 an hour. Like, man, this guy's paying me $8 an hour. I gotta give him at least $150 of value on that $80, right? I gotta make him know that's a good investment for me. I gotta make myself better, make the company better. Blase. But I think 80% of the people like, he only paid me $80. I'm only going to do this.
Mhm.
I'm not going to do anything else. And then like, you take those two people, and the people, the 80%, they wonder why they get no promotions, no raises. It always goes to 20%. Like, I don't know. It's not my job description. Like,
Yeah.
is that you find the same thing, or I'm off on this? What do you think?
I talk to people who approach things that way. I'm not hiring that. I can tell you that right now. I need killers. I need people who are looking to go above and beyond. And this is what I think. I think it's their job to do that. It's my job to make sure there are resources and systems in place so that there's no limit to them working in the company. So we meet each other both ways. You go above and beyond on your part, I go above and beyond our part so that we both can, get, something out of this transaction. But a lot of people are the way that you mentioned though. They look what they can take, not give. I don't get paid enough for that, or let me skim and see the bare minimum that I can do. And that's why they are where they are. Yeah. You'll never hear someone making 250 and up doing that.
Yeah. Now, obviously, people to get paid with a value, all that kind of stuff. We're not saying that. We're not saying work minimum wage, but
no.
If you get paid a salary, I mean, someone expect you to give like do your job or more than your job,
Oh, by definition, you have to do more than what you're paid, or you wouldn't be at the company because it wouldn't be profitable for them.
Yeah.
But
most companies are not nonprofits.
Literally. No, seriously though. No, literally. Yeah, is it even worth even trying with those kind of people? Because but at the same time, most people are just content. They just want to get by. And if they're living in that space, who's to tell them that they're wrong? Everyone can be ambitious. I'm a nut personally. I don't expect people to do what I do. Just don't judge me. I won't judge you. You can be the lazy one. Just don't judge me. I'm not going to judge you. Like, I like to do baller stuff. I like the stuff. All right. I'm into it. I want to live life on that other end. Don't judge me for pursuing that. I'm not going to judge you for not pursuing it. So we can be cool with it. Just don't judge me. That's all. I won't judge you.
Yes, I have a good friend. He set up all the stuff for me, right? So he works for one of the larger corporations, and he does like live streams, like the senior executives. They do a live stream, do a speech, and it goes all over the country, right? He pays people on his team like $30 an hour, like tape everything down, right? And every day he has to correct them. and like they'll leave a wire on, and he's paying $30 an hour, but he really can't get rid of it because like it's so hard to find replacements, right?
Yeah, it's yeah. Hiring is hard. It's just difficult. It's just difficult. I mean, to the point where I talk to my mentors all the time, asking them like, how did you, but you know what, since we're touching on it, one could argue that it is your duty as a business owner anyway to train and to build people versus trying to find, because you're kind of doing the thing that that you say that you don't like, which is being lazy. And if you're not coaching people, if they're steadily making the same mistakes, that's on you. Yeah. You're the leader. You're not. There's a fault in your leadership somewhere, because it falls back on you.
It drives me crazy, like here all the time, where like a boss will say, "Man, Jason's not working out. He's not doing this right. He keeps on messing up." Well, boss, have you told Jason that? Well, no. He knows he's messing up. So your logic says that Jason's messing up. He knows he's messing up, but he's continue messing up.
Yeah.
But you've never told him like you're doing it wrong, right?
Yeah, he's both saying Jason is a genius and an idiot.
Yeah.
He's a genius because he knows that he's messing up, but he's an idiot because he's not. Listen, it's your job as the leader to lead your team. And at the end of the day, if you're not getting the results you want, you gotta take a look in the mirror. With that being said, it is difficult to hire.
Yeah. Are you hiring right now for your company?
100%.
So some of us watching this video, right, on the podcast, live stream, whatever, and like they want to work for you. What would they need to do to get your attention? Or how do they do that? Like,
well, so
how do they impress you, so to speak? That's what I'm asking.
Specifically, we'll get to the banker part second, but because I'm looking for a personal assistant. So for that, if someone reached out and like just offered, just reach out and just put it out there,
And does that have to be in the Seattle area?
Doesn't. No, they don't have to be.
Okay. It'd be preferred, but
It's preferred. They don't have to be though, but they have to be willing. It has to be a market that we're in, definitely, and it has to be someone who's willing to travel.
okay.
Because the schedule's all over the place. Sometimes it's gotta like go to California on a whim,
Okay.
and they have to be able to accommodate that. But to be honest with you, someone who's willing to take the initiative and go above and beyond, and they can do that even in our interactions. Like if we've never met, and I'm looking for an executive assistant, and you hear this, and you reached out, and you say, "Hey, I listened to the podcast. I saw that you were looking for this. I noticed that you tend to, you deal with this certain type of people. I went ahead and made a short list of potential, partners or whatever. I put it into an Excel file. I put the contacts there. I even put it into a zip file. I'm gonna email it to you so that you know where to start. Let me know if you're planning to travel and to meet them because I can give you, travel dates. So just go above and beyond some way and like make my life easier for me because I can tell you right now that kind of stuff I don't even want to think about.
Yeah.
It's Jason, I have a lot on my plate, man. I just don't like think about that stuff. And then for bankers, the short of it, someone who's a team player but competitive and can get deals done.
Okay.
They can get deals done. For the banker part, it's pretty straightforward because it's all in the numbers.
Any type of banker experience, they have to like work at a certain like a micro bank or a certain amount of money in the bank or like certain industry bank or just.
I mean, there's a preference for certain industries over others. Like right now, if you've only been a solo middle market real estate banker, probably if there's other options. But if you're that same banker and you're willing to learn about other industries, then we can move because you have the right mentality. But we'll take someone pretty much from any industry as long as they have experience in middle market banking, because that could be potential access to different industries that we don't have access to.
How do you know someone has the right mentality?
Right. To be honest with you, I don't think you ever really know, but you have a feeling for it. So for the first round interviews, for the ones that I sit in on, it's only 15 minutes, and you'll just know if you even like each other. If it's, if it's a fit, in my opinion, you'll be able to tell in that first 15 minutes. But I don't think you truly really know until they get into the field and you start working with each other. It's a gamble.
So for your employees, like I'm assuming it's performance based. They have to close a certain number of deals on a certain number of days. Like what metrics do you have to measure how your people are doing?
Yeah. So we look at it on total finance amount annualized. So over the year. I personally, I don't have a micromanaging style of leadership. That's not my thing. This is what I do. This is what we're doing. This is where we're going. This is where you fit into that. Here are the resources for you to be able to do what you do well already. You let me know if you have any questions. I'm not going to be over your back. Let's get it done. Do you have any questions? Is there anywhere that I can explain further? Do you need to be coached up anywhere, in particular? Okay. Now, let's touch base outside of work stuff so I can let me know what your plans are long term so we can potentially help set you up to do that. But outside of that, let's do it. I mean, we don't have to talk long about this. I mean, if you got everything, you don't have any questions, I don't have any questions, I said everything. All right, let's go do it. I don't believe in long meetings.
I don't either.
My meetings are never over 15 minutes. Not one meeting is over 15 minutes. Not even a phone call. It's pointless. There's nothing over 15 minutes that can't be said in the first 15.
After 15 minutes, it's just bullshit about different bullshit that don't matter.
Exactly. And, I did a lot of research. I talked to my mentors a lot about it. As a leader, your job in a meeting is to get everyone on board, get everyone on the same page, direct them. Like this is not as in like bark orders, but like this is direction that we're going. This is what I need from everybody. This is what's going to help get you there. Do you have any questions? If no, that can be done in 5 minutes.
How you deal with this? Like you have your plan, you're laying out, and someone says, "Hey, Byron, like I think we should do the opposite." You let them like break down why they have their thinking and try to convince you, or how does that work for you?
No, if they have like feedback that way, I'm listening to them. Then I'm a bounce it off everyone in that meeting. I believe I have a lot of people in the meetings as well, but I'm gonna bounce it off. We get I forgot to mention that part. Get feedback from everyone involved. And it's not my job to be the smartest person in the room. It's my job to is to get the smartest people in the room, get their opinions, weigh all the pros and cons, and pick the best one. And that's how I will approach that.
Okay.
Yeah, and in fact, I welcome that kind of feedback. I need it.
So next question. Of course, don't give me the details, but have you had to let anyone go yet? Like get rid of them, so to speak?
Yes.
Can you talk about your process with that, how that worked, without giving too much details, of course?
Hey man, it's just not working out. I mean, you're not all the way in it. Maybe I didn't invest all the way in you, that which led you to pull back. You know, like the weird thing you do when you date. It's like, hey, maybe I didn't invest in you the way that you were looking for. Maybe it just wasn't a good fit, or you just wasn't, you were never going to be all the way in. Either way, I mean, we both know it's not really
quick and easy.
Yeah,
Like, where
yeah.
you goes.
It's not like a crazy thing.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
Someone, I heard this yesterday, a friend of mine told me this, like, it was like, or how do you say it? I'm gonna let you go so you can, what did he say? So you can find excellence elsewhere.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I really like that.
So you can find excellence elsewhere.
I really like that. And
I think people
this
get fired.
wasn't a big thing though.
I think people get fired wrong. They try to make, of course, it's negative. But I mean, but you can't say you're fired because it's you got to make it a positive. Like like you have better. I'm letting you go have a better opportunity somewhere else.
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's true. Nah, it hasn't been a thing so far, to be honest with you. I mean, but it will be. But I would approach it the same way though. Just, I don't think it's personal. It's just we weren't what you were looking for, and vice versa.
And so far, I'm guessing you've personally hired everyone that worked for you so far.
Yeah.
So once you get bigger,
no, sorry, no. For the VPs, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, I give my team discretion to make those decisions on who's going to be in their teams. They'll give me their input. They'll tell me what they think, and I tell them all the same. I mean, if you feel strongly about it, I sign off on it. I trust you. I mean, you're here for a reason.
So having said that, how do you make sure that your culture stays like it is, like with you not being a person to hire everyone? I think a lot of companies that grow up have a problem like keeping the culture, the values, because the more it gets away from you, the more the culture changes. Yeah,
it goes back to my job. I mean, that's my job is to repeat the same stuff with my team. Jason, you just have to keep repeating the same stuff. That's it. You get every time I talk to the VPs, I'm constantly repeating the same stuff. And then whenever we have like everyone, I just keep repeating the same stuff to the point that like they think it's cultic. But that's what you kind of have to do. And yes, there are tactics too, like in the actual like nuances of carrying out like the business, but I can give you all the good stuff. But there are things in place to keep a streamlined culture, and it's not perfect. What I'm learning is that none of this is. You kind of figure out.
And I'm guessing all your people like all over the United States, right?
Yeah. Okay. So the way we split up the company right now is between the East and West Coast essentially, and they're sharing in Texas. So yeah, we have people in Texas, Washington, California, now New York. So
are there certain cities you focus on?
Yes. In what state?
In any state.
Yes. So the Seattle market, New York, now Silicon Valley. That's not city, but the general area. But in Texas, no, because it's too big of a market. So we're looking at Dallas, Austin, and Houston in Texas.
Is there such thing as a perfect customer for your business?
No, not in this line of work. No, it's every deal's messy. Every single one. I mean, the more perfect ones just have all their books already clean, so it wouldn't take a long time.
When you talk to a potential client, how quickly does it take you to realize, okay, I can do business with them, or I need to get rid of this, I can't do business with them at all?
10 minutes. If there was a guy I talked to 2 days ago, he's an asset manager in Texas, complete asshole, and just knew in the first like 5 minutes this is not a good fit. It's not gonna work, and that made him mad, of course. But you kind of know. I mean, it's funny we're having this conversation because I told my team this today. If the client is an ass to you, we're not gonna work with them. I'm not gonna sign off on that client because it's gonna it's gonna put you in this position like you feel like you have to continuously like. I don't even want to put them. I want to empower my people. So we just don't deal with asshole clients. That doesn't mean stuff can't get real sometimes. It does get. We're dealing with big money. It gets real. It gets seriously real, and the ramifications of things going wrong is serious. I don't take that lightly. But if they're just a genuine asshole with no intention on like being any kind of malleable to work with, let them go. We take it on.
Can you run through, like, of course, not all the details, can you run like through schematics of how a process of the deal works, like beginning to end, like all everything that's involved in it? I guess like a dummies 101 for deal making, I guess.
It's hard to answer that carte blanche because every deal is different. But essentially, it's a company, preferably that middle market company, that need financing. Let's say they need
and middle market is like between $100 million to revenue, or
actually it depends on what
the industry is.
Not even industry, but it's a moving. There aren't hard numbers for middle market. Some people consider it like 5 to 200 million in revenue. Some consider it 1 to 100. It's kind of just somewhere in that range. But we work with small to middle market. Sorry. But let's say they needed a credit line, like let's say a $10 million credit line. We would talk to them, kind of we would assess their balance sheet and P&Ls, see who they bank with, currently as far as who they hold their deposits with. What do they need the money for? How long they've been in business? What's their personal situation looking like? What's the ownership of the company, et cetera? And then from there, we'll underwrite the deal for them so they'll know like this is what this will look like. This is what you'll probably have to secure it against. This is what the interest rates will come in at. These are the specific terms of because we're just talking kind of top level of the deal. These are the specific terms. This is when it has to revolve. This is the reset period. This is if you don't do X in this period of time, you're going to accrue this much. And if you default, you can put in X in place so that it doesn't actually compound. It can just convert to a note or into some form of equity, et cetera. We'll get into the actual details of the term. And if they like it, then what we'll do is package all of that up, which is I'm fast forwarding it, but we'll package all of that up and then bring it to the right place. And that right place could be a PE fund, a hedge fund, insurance company, bank, et cetera.
And when you're doing this, are they also offering these deals to like your competitors, so to speak, and you have to compete with other people for these deals? And if you are, like, you're like, okay, in order to close the deal, I'll lower the interest rate, or I'll do this, I'll do that. Any of that stuff going on?
Our competitors, you asked?
Yeah. Like close the your company, like your company, 3 other companies are trying to close the deal for this one industry, right?
Well, no. Well, if that happened, we were partnering on it. I doubt that because I mean we charge a retainer up front, so I doubt that they're going to do that with multiple places at once. And what makes an investment bank in particular like more what makes it interesting is that I mean when you talk to us, you're talking to everybody, so there's no need for that. I mean you're when you talk to us, you're talking to the market. If we cannot get a deal done, it's because the deal cannot get done. And that's not just for credit loans, by the way. That's for everything. I mean, that's for equity, mezzanine loans, term loans, credit loans, of course, acquisition loans. We are the company finance people. If you need money, you give us a call.
And are these companies reach out to you, or your business development person finding these deals for you?
It's a combination of kind of everything. He's doing that, but that's for like undisclosed deals with governments. Actually, he's doing international work for us. But actually, to be honest with you, right now, most of the deals are finding their way to us.
Okay.
And it's not because we're just like because we have some special sauce. It's just we sell money, so it's easy to get there.
Can you talk about a deal that you closed since you started the company that you're really proud of?
I can talk about one that is about to close. Because I'm most proud of that. Actually, no, it's signed by NDA. Most of our deals are, by the way. can I talk about it loosely? There is a yes, there's a company in Texas that's a energy based company that needed a pretty sizable credit line, and they have been unprofitable up until recent, and then they want to take advantage of it. And what I like about this deal is that it's pretty much unbankable from a traditional bank. They can't get a loan from a bank because banks have really, even the more risky ones, they have a really tight box. Banks are very conservative, and if you don't fit into it, then you just can't get the deal done. And I'm proud about that one because I have nothing against the energy industry. I recognize that it's important for America. I wish we had more energy companies here, to be quite frank with you. And the fact that they were unprofitable up until recent, it made it kind of had to roll our sleeves up to get it done. And it was a pretty sizable amount too. So that's the most recent one that I would say that I'm proud of because it was just hard to do. It was hard to do, mix the difficulty of it, and then the fact that it was in that industry. It was the first client that I've had personally in that industry.
Is there an industry that you not want to work with? That you say I don't work with this industry?
No, I'm not in love with real estate, but I mean, of course, we still taking on clients, but I don't think so. Because even if it's one, like for the ones that we haven't had a strong footprint in yet, it's still interesting. Like, I'm more intrigued by the line of work, to be honest with you. There hasn't been anything. I don't know any industries right now as I talk to you that I'm like just completely
okay.
I just want to avoid it. You know, don't even touch it with a 6-foot pole. Not that I can think of.
Yeah. So back to Silicon Valley Bank, the two bank failures, and are we recession, not recession? What's your crystal ball of the economy for the rest of 2023?
For the economy,
Yeah. Or
I'd say this, man. If you are an investor with dry powder, you are. How about this? I'll say this because I don't know if I can give my opinion. I don't know if I can give my qualified opinion because I'm a banker, but my company, we are particularly positioned to take advantage of what I foresee coming. We're getting really aggressive for a reason, and it's because from what I think is going to happen, I don't think a lot of people will be aggressive. I think a lot of people are going to pull back, kind of go into their shells, and I think this is. I'm almost speaking verbatim from a conversation earlier with the team, but I think we're about to walk into a golden era of opportunity. I think I'm really, really excited about how my firm can position itself to be able to take care of our clients because of what's from what we foresee is to come. We've seen 2 bank failures, I think 3 actually, that we know of, and there may be more. That can easily be 10. Easily. I can easily be 10. Like overnight, I could be 10. And there's going to be a stronger need for money that companies will need. And we're just positioned to take advantage of it. Not only are we positioned to do that, because we don't just work with those kind of companies. We're also positioned to help the funds that lend to these companies, because we work with them too. We help them get their money as well. A lot of people don't know about that though. And we're just well positioned on all fronts, I would say, because we haven't seen anything yet. Let me just be honest.
the next question. So your company's doing very well right now, 100% growth, but things can turn on a dime. In your mind, what would make your company fail?
I don't know if I can answer that out loud, but first, let me say this. I wouldn't say that we're doing really well, because if we're doing really well, we're like operating like 5% right now. We're leaving a lot of room on the table, and which is a good thing because we have a lot of room to go. I'm proud of my team. These people, like, they're killing it. They're absolutely killing it. I'm lucky to have these people on our team, but we can be doing a lot more though, for sure. 100%. How do we die? just not being able to serve our clients, to be honest with you. I know that's like so like that's like almost a nothing burger, but that's how we die. Because we'll get a client that has needs and we can't serve it. If we cannot find or put together structure, etc., like money for our clients, there's no, we shouldn't even exist. I mean, that's what we do. But I just don't see that happening though. I mean, everything that we've been doing, we're well positioned to be able to do that and more. I mean, we have a goal of no matter what the client is, no matter what the situation is, as long as it meets a certain threshold, we can get them financing. Every single client. It doesn't mean they're going to love, every term that's in front of them, but we can get every single client some kind of finance. That's our goal. And everything that we've been doing internally has been aligned with that. And I just don't see us dying, to be honest with you. I see us expanding even more.
So you talk about the great things your people do. Can you talk about something someone recently did? Like, man, this person like really went above and beyond.
Yes.
Like really like did something great.
Yes. This morning. I can't go on specifics of, of course, but one person in the team took advantage of a meeting because this morning we had a lot of meetings, and this one that he ran was a big meeting. We talked about it last night, then we touched on it this morning. This is on the East Coast too, so like by the time I woke up, they're already about to go into the meeting, and he ran that, like he did it. Like we had a plan, he went in, he delivered it, and just took charge of it. And I'm like, okay, that's what I'm talking about. That because that now, and these conversations that I had with him, both with actually everyone in the company, I'm like, that right there was awesome. That helps me sleep at night because now I can look at the general landscape of what's, because we're going through a crisis right now as I talk to you. And knowing that he can handle meetings like that is such a weight off my shoulder because I don't have to sit in on all the meetings anymore. Now I know like this guy can run that. Now I can give him this. I can give him that, not to think about. We talk over the plans and he got it. No follow-up questions. He got it. He can run it. He can manage people too because he has people under him. He has that. He can take on pressure and deliver. And that happened just this morning.
Yeah, people like that are so invaluable to you. Like,
well, Jason, you have no idea. It's everything because I have to think about everything, and the less things I get to think about is better for me. So I'm lucky.
So next, let's suppose you're asked to talk to a bunch of ninth graders, right? And and then when you talk about what skills they need in the future, what they need to learn, what would you tell these ninth graders?
Being able to handle pressure, in my opinion, that's number one. That's number one. And number two, the number one skill, actually, no, forget pressure. Number one skill, you need to have the skill of thinking big. I think the conversation should start in there. You need to be able to think big. You need to think past everyone to your left and right. You need to think bigger than me. You need to think bigger than everybody. And stay there, like live in the clouds, never come down. Because think about it, from ninth grade on, you get told things you can't do from your teachers, parents, friends, everything. That's for other people. That's for rich people, the 1%, whatever.
No one from this neighborhood ever did that, or stuff like that, or
yeah,
be realistic. Your father's a janitor, you'll be nothing more than a janitor.
Yeah, they use the R word, realistic. That be realistic.
To me, that should be a 4-letter word.
What do you think though for the ninth grader?
I would say public speaking and do some kind of sales.
I like that.
Public speaking, like you gotta be able to get in front of people and defend something, right?
Yeah.
Even for a job interview, you have public speaking skills, and like and be able to sell stuff, People are so underrated.
Yeah. It's you can change your life with a good sales position.
Yes, you can.
In fact, I would suggest more track athletes to start running track and pick up a sales job. Seriously. If I can go back, I probably wouldn't have ran professionally. I would have went to Olympics, I wouldn't have picked up a sales job. I mean, because it has to be specific to me, right? But I would have done something similar. I would have done this sooner, for sure. I think more track people should do that specifically. Can I talk about an idea that I've been toying with?
No.
I can't.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, I'm gonna say please. I'm thinking about for Olympic athletes of starting a fund to basically subsidize their living, well, not all of it, but give them some kind of stipend for the first year out of college so they can further their career in track. I think I can pull together about 10 million for that from our sources. And then but I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud. I probably shouldn't say it on air, but it is something I'm thinking about though.
Okay.
What does that sound like?
It would sound like it's $10 million enough.
It has to start somewhere. So that 10 million would be a pilot.
And would it be like, I guess this maybe one specific college at first, I'm guessing. Or maybe one specific like race.
No. With 10 mil, you can cover a few sports with 10 mil. Like these have to be qualified athletes, like coming out of school that has a chance. So there needs to be an objective standard for them to hit. But I think for track, swimming, anything related, volleyball, that kind of stuff, there's something that's needed like that. I don't think it's currently out there. But we'll see.
Can you talk about how you make money?
How I make money?
Yeah. Like, is it like a certain, like you see, you have upfront fee or like you get charged interest rates? Like how do you make your money?
It depends on the type of deal. Some deals we make it over the lifetime of the actual loan. Some it's just purely off of the the percentage of the size of the transaction. But we work so like okay, I can't give names and stuff, be specific, but like working on a deal right now where we are actually foregoing the upfront fee, the closing fee, and we are going to be the exclusive broker of record for that fund. So we're going to get them from, I mean, I can't say the exact amount, but we're going to get them over 50 million. I'll put it out. And then for all the deals that they do from that fund, because this is a fund client, from all the deals they do from that fund to whoever their client is, will be the exclusive broker on record, and then we'll make it up on the back end. Okay. So every deal is different, but the majority of them is a upfront fee, with the rest due at close.
What happens if you get like a client a loan and they default? Are you responsible for the loan, or how does that work?
No.
What kind of risk you have with that when that happens?
No whatsoever. I mean, it's a bad look for us because we put together a deal with a client that didn't perform, but that's outside of our control, and things happen. What were the reasons that they, default? I mean, they ain't think of it. Was it COVID? But no, we're not personally liable for that. No. We're intermediaries, right. Honest brokers.
So right now, what do you do for fun?
If I said work, that made me seem like that guy. But the art and the chess and stuff.
Okay.
And I do go to a lot of parks. I'm not gonna say park because I want people to go to park. And I work out every day. Okay. I mean, that's like how I really unwind. Are
you like the first in the morning workout guy, or middle of the day, or does it really matter? Or maybe you can find time?
Both. Some days I do like first thing in the morning and then in the middle of the day. But when I'm lucky, I'm blessed to be able to say whenever I want. I mean, I can go work out whenever I want.
That is one good thing about being an entrepreneur. Like, like you can like after this podcast, we need to go have a beer if we want to, right? Mm-hmm. But then again, the cost is probably to work later tonight to catch up on the time we missed. Drinking the beer,
Yeah, you said. In fact, it's awesome being an entrepreneur. So I mean, I do the 5 critical tasks that I learned from Andy Frisella. So that's how I set my day up. I just do 5 things that's work related, that's going to advance everything forward. After that, I'm just playing coach or like taking care of emergencies, which happen every day. But just doing that kind of stuff. But that's how I set my day up off of, what did I get done, not how long did I work today. Now, some days that means like from the crack of dawn to past midnight, but it doesn't even feel like work, to be honest, because it's just I don't do the same thing every day. Every day is different. Yeah. Only thing that's like consistent are the meetings, these 15-minute meetings, like Mondays and Wednesdays. Outside of that, everything after that is completely different.
So how do you know, like, when you want to be an entrepreneur, like, and specifically in the banking or finance industry, that could for you?
I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur since I was a kid. I was in high school selling candy. I mean, I didn't think about it. It wasn't like I'm doing this because I want to be an entrepreneur. It was, I need money. I have $2. This pack of 8 airheads costs $1.25. I'm gonna buy them and sell them each for 25 cents. If they want more than 3 at a time, it's $3-4, and just built it up that way. So it wasn't like I want to be an entrepreneur. It was, I have ideas. I know how to arbitrage something and make money. I understand that there's a time value to convenience. So like if you're selling candy in school, you can charge more than if you were at Walmart, because when you're at school, it's harder to get food. So you can take advantage of it. You can arbitrage that. But specifically for the investment space, I knew that ever since I was like a junior in high school, I want to be like an investor somewhere. I always knew it.
What advice you have someone who's out there, like, they're not an entrepreneur yet, but they have this idea, they're playing around with the idea, they know they want to do something entrepreneurship. What advice you have for them?
They want to do something entrepreneurship?
Yeah, they've had an idea, they have no idea what to do. Like,
oh, it's not for, that's, if that's where you're at, then don't do anything, because you shouldn't want to do an idea because you want to be an entrepreneur. You should, it should be the other way around. Like you want to solve a problem. You should start there. You want to solve a problem. And if let's leave the E word out of it, because like it's so like muddy now. Everyone wants to say they're one and they're not. Like, you're not an entrepreneur. You have a side gig. You have a Fiverr account. You're not an entrepreneur. You're not really taking any risks or like paying people or anything like that. You're not putting it out there on the line. You're not doing that stuff. You just don't like your job, really, to be honest with you. You should be focused on solving a problem, in my opinion. I'm no expert. You should be focused on solving a problem. And if you don't have a problem to solve, if you're in it for the money, then entrepreneurship isn't for you. Because to be quite honest with you, when you first start, there's no money. In fact, you're going to be in the negative. You're going to be spending money and not making any. And it's funny because you're in it only to make money. So you're going to quit. That's why so many people quit, because they weren't solving a problem. They were just trying to make money. And by the way, most people are better off being entrepreneurs than entrepreneurs, as they should be. Who wants to take on all that risk? You know how stressful it is to be an entrepreneur?
I often say, like, we need mental health checkups. So, a craziness checkup if you want to be an entrepreneur, right? Because you can't be like a perfectly sane person, I think, to be an entrepreneur.
Jason, I wish you knew how. I agree. I wish you knew how often I almost have panic attacks, man. It's well, that's why I have to like break, go work out to unwind, because it's so stressful. It's not even funny. It's just not for everybody. You have to be able to deal with everything all at once. Everything. You have to be able to have a clear mind with everything going on, make very critical decisions that are dire, like do or die. If I make the wrong decision, we're out of business, that kind of stuff.
And now you're out of business. Those people you hired, their family depend on their paycheck. So then you put all these people out of their homes potentially, but
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not something that people think about when they first get into it, because they just want to make money. They don't realize that, okay, if you're starting a company and you're leading people, you should be focused on leading people, by the way. But if you're leading people, you have to make decisions with literally their kids in mind.
Yeah.
Literally their kids in mind.
And that's why, like you said, if the CEO, you have to be the number one salesperson, right? Because you have to bring in the business.
Yes. And then you have to sell your people too. You work for them. So you have to convince them why they should submit their future, car decisions, college decisions, everything, like just everything. They have to believe in you that much to be able to rock with you. And if you actually care, if you're human and you actually care about your people, that's a lot to take on.
Yeah.
It's an honor to take
And
it
most
on.
people can't handle that pressure, to be honest.
That's why most people aren't entrepreneurs. And that's why I would never even at least publicly, I would never like shame another, same way like for NAFTA, I would never shame another entrepreneur because I understand like I don't have to talk to them to know like they're under the gun. Like they are under the gun. It's everything's high pressure. I don't even want to look at my phone right now because I have it on do not disturb. I know once I pick it up, it's gonna be more fires that, you know. But that's the life though. I like living life on the edge like that. It's it gives me joy. I don't know why. I love it. I don't know why.
So besides working out, what other ways you take care of yourself?
You can make the case I don't take care of myself.
When people ask me a question, I say I suck at it. Is my answer usually, you know, even though I try to get better.
Everyone
at it.
likes you though. Everyone like you could just pick up the phone and call people.
Yeah.
How do I take care of myself? I don't know if I do, man. I really don't know if I do. I mean, I'm so locked in. I'm always thinking about like what's going on in the world and like the company and stuff that like it just consumes everything. Like, there isn't a second to go by where we spend the majority of the time talking about it. Like it's all I think about. I don't really spend a lot of time outside of that. I mean, I work out, do the art, play chess. I do love to read and write poetry as well. I love to read in general. I read 50 books a year probably. That's kind of it though.
Okay.
That's kind of it.
What's your long-term vision for your company?
Yes, we are going to be a $1 billion company that can solve any financial solution for a small to middle market company.
Nice. And then, well, you already answered this pretty much in the interview, but can you go more details about your company, like how it got started, like what you focus on now?
Yeah, started as a commercial real estate brokerage, loan brokerage. That's how it started. It was as simple as just calling as many banks and credit unions and private lenders, understanding what they needed or what they were looking for their loans. And that's how I realized that every bank, credit union, and private lenders were different. Before that, I thought every bank was kind of the same. So I found out what they were looking for. Then I'll reach out to as many people as I possibly could, went to every networking event, did all the stuff. I mean, this was like ground floor, like day one. And kind of told them what I did. It was just focused on real estate. Then so early on, I noticed that even for real estate clients, that there was the commercial mortgage and then there was the business that needed financing as well. Then got into business financing and then fell in love with that part. Higher margins too, by the way, just to be honest with you. And so now we're in a space where we do primarily business. And then we branch into different industries in business from there. But I'm fast forwarding. So now it's primarily, I'll say 80% of our book is business, the rest being real estate. But that's how I got started though. And that's on top of like reading as much as I possibly could on the topic. I mean, really reading it.
So what are you doing? You have to have some kind of certification, some kind of license, or can anyone just start a company and do what you're doing?
If you are if you are dealing in securities, you need to have a serious license, but we don't deal in securities. If you're doing just the loan part, if you are in California, I believe I forgot, but if you're doing that and you're lending, which we don't do, and you're lending, then you have to be licensed for it. But specifically for what we do, there's no license required because we don't lend from our own balance sheet. And we don't deal anything with securities.
Okay. So next, so you want to be a $1 billion company.
We're going to be a $1 billion.
When you're a $1 billion company, you become a $1 billion company, who will your competitors be at that level?
You want me to say it out loud?
Yeah. Definitely.
It would definitely be the Goldman Sachs of the world.
Okay.
And JP Morgan's. Well,
I guess you already have like a path, like your vision board showing how you're gonna go to each step and get there.
Yes. Okay. Yes. In the future, I mean, I definitely I have to change what's in front of me. You know, I mean, I didn't imagine us being able to work with the actual lenders that we broker from as well on for their financing for their funds. I never even imagined that up until recently. So there's an opportunity that just brought itself, and we had to just change with it. But yeah, no, there's definitely a path. I mean, I can see us getting into wealth management, probably be through acquisition, most likely. And to be honest with you, probably most, if not all, different lines of finance business. The plan is to be a full-fledged bulge bracket investment bank.
And do you prefer, like, I guess it allows like to hit singles over and over, or hit home runs, or a combination of both?
I prefer to hit a bunch of singles first.
Okay.
Because you got to keep the lights on. Now, whenever we get that homer, you take advantage of it. But the plan is the plan has been to do a bunch of singles, then a bunch of doubles. But then, throughohout all that, when that homer comes, we still take advantage of it.
But you never know, that single might turn to an inside the park home run, right?
No, seriously though. No, there's a lot of truth to that. And don't get me wrong, we do have the home runs. We do have it, but we're not a firm that banks on it though. No pun intended. Because it just there's a lot of nuances we'll have to get into, but like it takes a lot of time and trust. And you can't fast forward that part to get that home run type of client. But in the intermediate though, singles and doubles for sure, and it would build a reputation from there.
Think about this, like an entrepreneur, like not even day to day, but sometimes hour to hour, 1 hour, like, man, I'm crushing it. Next hour, man, it's crushing me. Like, how do you deal with the up and downs, the emotional roller coaster, so to speak?
I'm so glad you asked that question because that's a real thing. So, like yesterday, killed it up until like the last hour, then kind of just, on the days that are like particularly more difficult than others, I kind of laugh because I'm fortunate to come from the sport world where like that just comes with it. Some days you're on, some days you're not. Some days you're kind of in between. Some days you're better in this area. It's kind of all over the place. And I learned that skill from track. So now I can just carry over into business. Like what I want is the functional, like trending average. That's what I want. I don't want one day to be, Superman, the next day to be depressed. I don't want that. That I can't deal with. Now I do understand there's going to be variance, but as long as that average is trending upwards, I'm good with it. But whenever I'm feeling down specifically though, I just laugh because I know it's part of it. This is what it is. Like, this is just what it is. I mean, I started a business when I was sleeping on the couch. I was just laughing about it because I'm confident in where this is going to get to. It's not where I'm at right now, and I appreciate the journey again, because I experienced it with track. And you have to, that's another reason why I say a lot of people aren't entrepreneurs, because they're not willing to go through the sleep on the couch days. They want a Lambo next week.
Yeah.
And it's just not going to come. But I expect everything to go wrong anyway, that whenever something like it's just not perfect, I'm cool. It's like, oh, it could have been worse.
Yeah, I saw this on TV one time where Tom Hanks was talking to a bunch of actors. He was talking about how he lives a life. He was like, like a lot of times, like stuff doesn't do good. I didn't get a role, something's going bad. I think this shall pass, right? And he also says, on the reverse hand, like when things going great, this also shall pass, right?
Yeah.
So you got to think, no matter how good it's going to get or how bad it is, it's not going to stay the same.
He is a stoic. I think that was wiser than he even realized when he may have said that. But no, you kind of have to play it that way, because I mean you can't start believing your own hype, because you're gonna get humbled. It's gonna happen. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, often I say to myself, I've said this a lot too, like believe in yourself, and even when you don't believe in yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you gotta have belief, and even like you're like, man, I can't do this. What I'm doing, and like, oh no, actually you can't do it, right?
Whenever I'm lacking confidence, I listen. I'm extreme. I listen to the speech that Alexander the Great gave to his people after they had conquered. They were on the precipice of going towards Russia, and this is after they had left Greece all the way forward past the Hellespont. And I mean,
there's not no armored cars, no boats, no ships. It's like this all foot power back
foot and horses. Yep. And I mean, we're not even going to touch on that campaign because it was incredible, and that's volumes of books have been written on how great that was. But I have the speech on my phone of the speech he gave to his men when they didn't want to go any further, when he needed them the most. And I mean, the balls on this guy. He was a kid then. He was like, I think he was 27 actually. around there, 27, 26. And it's so inspiring. And it basically, I mean, you can draw to a lot of downfalls of his leadership. You can say it was temperamental, et cetera, child, whatever. But the guy had balls. And in this speech, he basically is telling them, like, this is what I have done for you. This is how you're acting towards me. You need to get it together. Either you get it together or you can go back home and tell your wives that you quit on your country. And I mean, that shit was hard, man.
Yeah.
You should listen to it. I'll send it to you afterwards.
Yeah, send it to me.
It's incredible. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's incredible. I like to think that I'm that I get after it.
Yeah.
But every time I listen to it, I'm like, damn, I mean, he did that. And I'm just doing the small stuff. Like I can go harder.
You gotta conquer the world at 27.
He almost did. He almost conquered the known world. He almost did. Do you know that story, by the way?
I don't know.
He died under very mysterious circumstance. No one.
I know he died like 32, 33.
He died at 32, but no one knows the exact cause. It's believed that he got poisoned from someone in his team, from his camp. And he has an incredible campaign. Who's the leader of the Mongols?
Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan. Yeah. So I was talking to a guy in the gym yesterday about this. Great guy, by the way. We'll get to that another time. But I'm gonna start doing more research on Genghis Khan now, because he told me that, like, he was up there with Alexander the Great. Now I looked at it. I actually used ChatGPT to get some quick facts to compare and contrast them. And from what I understand, he lived to be older. He was more calculated. But one of the biggest difference between the two was that Alexander was brash and just hyper aggressive. Not to say the Mongols weren't, but they were more culture driven. Now they had a culture of savages.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, they were savages. They were brutal savages, but it was more streamlined through their culture. Whereas with Alexander the Great, he spent so much time, like, it was like a hyper growth model. They were just taking over everything.
He was like the startup mode
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, exactly. They were just taking over. They'll show up at your front door. Either you can see defeat on the spot, or we're going to kill everybody and burn your land, like, in the wake of it. I don't know. I'm gonna send you that speech later.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I think another difference part too is, like, I said, there's really any known descendants of Alexander the Great, where supposedly Genghis Khan is like one of every 10 people in the world is like from him some kind of way,
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been real big into Roman history, like how that played out. I've always been big fan of that, right? How, like, they conquered the world and all the infighting, had all these, sometimes had bad emperors, some good emperors,
Yeah. There's a book on that. I think it's called The Fall of Nations or something along those lines. It touches on almost every.
Yeah, you're
great
talking
empire.
about the
Fate of Nations, or I think Fate of Empires, or
yeah. There's a book about Roman history. It's like the rise and fall of Roman history by Gabbins, I think.
No, it's not that one.
Okay.
This one, it talks about a bunch of different civilizations over the years and the cycles that they go through whenever you kind of start as bandits, you take over, you become a strong nation,
Mm-hmm.
then you become so strong that your people become weak, then you start to infight, and then that cycle.
Yeah.
When I read this book, I didn't realize that this example has played out so many times over history.
Yeah.
But what made me think of that was the Roman one, because that's what happened.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's so common with what we're seeing today. It's almost like we're Rome.
Yeah.
Almost down to a T, from the fiscal policy to politicians to culture, literally everything, to the focus on the hyper focus on sports. That's where the bread and circus phrase came from. Everything.
Yeah. It's crazy how compared we are to the Roman Empire,
Can I speak to that bread and circus, by the way? I talk about this with my best friend a lot. It blows my mind that, like, because I was in business mode, I'm thinking about how to lead these people, how to get into new markets, what makes them tick, how can I help them, what can I do, that kind of stuff. Then you take that, you extract it to, like, macro themes, like what's going on in the world. just serious stuff going on in the world right now. And it occupies my mind every day, all hours of the day, every day. And it blows my mind that I'll talk to someone and like their level of thinking isn't past like a new Starbucks coffee. And it's like, they'll call you intense. I'm not saying I'm not, but they'll call you that as if like something's wrong with you. When you're just in the actual world and like you're focused on real things. And they care about Fortnite, a Starbucks coffee, the Cowboys game, and like a Meg Thee Stallion concert or a Drake tour or whatever. You fill in the blank, whatever the gossip thing is. And it blows my mind, man. I feel like I'm the crazy one. I feel like I'm in the Matrix sometimes. I'm talking to people, they're not even concerned with anything past like whatever's arm length to them. I'm like, what in the world? Do you see this at all?
Yeah, definitely. No, I mean, like back in the Roman history times, like the emperors of like give grain to all the people to set them up, right? Because this like as long as we keep them fed and entertained, fed with grain and entertained with gladiator fights, we get where we want to. The same thing holds true today.
To the point that they'll fight amongst each other about the entertainment that they're, spectating, and don't even give a damn about, who their senator is. Who their senator is.
How many people can't even name their city councilman or senator or, school board attendant or like, where the case may be, right?
Yeah. I mean, you give them alcohol and some entertainment and you can have that knife. You can take the knife from behind you to out front. They wouldn't even notice it because they're not even looking. They're not paying attention.
Yeah.
It's depressing, but that's why business isn't competitive right now. And for the competitive people, the aggressive people on offense, you just get ahead. Yeah. I hope younger people are listening to, because if they took this time right now to get off Instagram, TikTok, just focus on something, build it up, world is yours.
Yeah. And it's a shame, like, even the presidential election, like most Americans don't even vote on that. And then even less voting, like, matter to me, the elections that really matter, like, state representative, city councilman, local election, because you think about it, the run of the president, like, it does affect you, yeah, but,
the president is so macro.
Your local city councilman probably matters even more,
Yeah. The president is so macro. People they'll fuss and fight about macro stuff, but not even make their own bed. What can you say?
It's crazy. So what's your plan to continue to have this great drive you have? Like, you think you always have it, or is there things you do like I won't say mind tricks, like mental things you do to make sure you have this drive all the time?
I don't think I have a great drive. I do appreciate that though. But that's why I do things like 75 Hard. I do at least twice a year. If whoever doesn't know it, it's a program. It's a mental toughness program. It's not a fitness challenge. It's so you work out twice a day. One has to be outside. Both have to be at least 45 minutes. You have to drink a gallon of water, no alcohol, progress picture, and read 10 pages of a nonfiction book. And you do it for 75 days. And it gets you mentally sharp, in short. And I always look for stuff like that, combined with like the type of books that I read to make sure I'm just mentally firing on all cylinders. Because I don't think I'm mentally tough at all. I think I constantly need to work on it, actually. I think I'm mentally soft.
So if you're mentally soft, good Lord, how mentally soft the rest of other people are.
There are words that I don't want to say over the air, but no, most people are soft in my opinion.
Yeah, they are.
In my opinion, I think I'm just less soft than the average person.
So how do you manage this, right? Because if you're an entrepreneur business owner, you got to do your networking, get your word out there. Then you got to also focus your company. How do you I think a lot of people network too much, or they focus on the company too much. How do you make sure you have a good balance of doing both of them?
That's a really good question, because it's something that I constantly try to figure out. I now only do networking that I think is ultra critical. Also, by the way, if you're hiring right, if you're recruiting right, rather, that is a form of networking, because what you're bringing on is their network of people, and that gives you access to whoever they have access to, if you're doing it right. But as far as me showing up at one, it has to be a serious one. Tomorrow I'm gonna be at one with a lot of family offices. Needless to say, that's one
that's big time for you.
Yeah. The last one before that was 3 weeks ago, I think, that I can remember. It was with family offices and a lot of VCs. So that's something that I'm gonna be present for. But the run of the mill 10x ones, or the those kind of slimy real estate stuff, or like I just don't have time for it, to be honest with you. It's I actually lose money by going to stuff like that, because that's time that I could have been working on something that's actually a profit center for the firm. But no, it's something that I'm constantly trying to work on. I try to do at least one or two a month, at least, of some form. But if I'm doing my job well within the company, that is a form of networking. But you have to know how to leverage other people, and but I don't want to give all the good stuff out.
Yeah.
But that is a thing, though.
So
what do you do? Because you know everybody. I mean, I should be asking you. You're the networker.
So yeah, I mean, it's weird. Like I'm an introvert. Like I told someone one time, like I'm the type of person, like I would like to go like a networking event or go to Starbucks and just observe people, right? Like I don't have to talk to anyone, right? I went to a networking event last night. I'll go networking event, just meet 3 new people, right? And once I had 3 people, sometimes I leave, sometimes I stay around, but yeah. But it's a hard balance, right? I think definitely people you can become a networker, entrepreneur, so to speak, right? And never build anything. You definitely got to go network stuff that you can add value to, and it can add value to.
Yes,
it makes any sense, right?
That's why I when I first started, I would go. I mean, this is how I got started. I literally went to Meetup and would just.
I still do that sometimes. Go to Meetup, just punching startup or like something I'm interested in doing.
But I would do things 3 to 5 times a week.
Yeah.
I would just fill it up and just shake as many hands, follow up with coffee. Just hustling. I mean, that's how it started. But I just don't have the time for it anymore.
Yeah.
I just don't have it. I don't even have the time really a lot of times, like, to even take certain calls. I just don't, because what I'm learning is that even talking about things that's not conducive to what it is that you're actually focused on, you lose money doing that. You lose money doing that, because it's literally less time spent working, or it just takes your focus off. Now you need to learn how to control your focus. You learn how to snap back, which is a thing. These are real tactics, by the way. You have to learn how to do that, because you can have a conversation, childhood friend call you about some stupid, oh, did you hear some gossip? Did you hear about X, Y? You're like, oh, really? You get caught up in it. It's hard not to get caught up in it if it's good enough. Then you get off 30 minutes later, right? Because you're gonna talk for 30 minutes. So you lost 30 minutes. Then you're gonna lose another 30 minutes because you're like, damn, that really, Bobby really did that back in the old hood, and it's just time out of your day. It's not conducive to what you actually wanted to do. So I talk about this with my team a lot. We have to learn how to control our focus. You have to learn how to control your focus. I know that sounds like thematic or like kind of fluffy in the air, but it's a real thing. You gotta learn how to control your focus, because it can be tough.
On average, how many hours of sleep you get a day?
At most 6.
6, okay.
Yeah. What about you?
I work best have 7.
Okay.
Like, it was funny, like if I get 3 hours of sleep, or like I'm actually worse off getting more sleep than less sleep. For some reason. Like suppose I sleep 10 hours, I'm like groggy, I'm done the rest of the day. I can go like maybe a week on like 4 or 5 hours of sleep, but optimally I need 7. That's like my sweet spot.
So okay. Yeah, I don't think I've ever slept 7 hours outside of times I've been really sick.
Yeah.
I can't sleep long. It's hard for me to go to sleep. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to stay asleep.
Is that because your mind never shuts off?
I think so.
Yeah. I have the same problem. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just difficult for me. It's always been that way.
So there's a term, ABC, always be closing. I also believe in the term ABR, always be recruiting, right? So how do you once again manage between always closing your sales stuff and also be recruiting at the same time?
I don't work as closely on the deals anymore.
So you can focus more on recruiting then, and bringing your top talent in. Yes,
that, and making sure that everything is operating efficiently. We're going in the right direction, and that the culture is being instilled throughout the entire firm. No, listen, why do I recruit people? So that they can do the deal. So it's my job to make sure they get the resources, they get the direction. I'm coaching them up, answering their questions so they can actually do it. Because the more time it sounds weird, but the more time I spend actually doing deals, the less successful the firm is going to be. because it's time.
Yeah.
You know, the same reason for everything else. Even for actually doing the deals. If I'm doing the deals, then I'm only one person. If we want to be a $1 billion company, I can't be doing all the deals. I can be touching on them though, like from high level. I'll do the intro. If it's a big enough client, I got the onboarding. I got it. You know, because I would say that I'm good with getting clients. I can do that part. But then once they're in our firm and we're working on it together, someone in the company will be directly facilitating it, making sure that all their needs are being met.
What kind of sales training or any kind of sales items do you do for your people? Like, how's that work for you?
None whatsoever.
Okay.
No. Won't do any of that. I guess every company is a sales company to a certain degree, but so one of the things that makes us different is the fact that we're not salesy. In fact, most of the times we'll tell a client, you probably shouldn't get this. Like you probably shouldn't work with it. You probably should try to make it work. We can probably consult maybe, but like you probably shouldn't go this route. Because we really want to be their embedded advisors. We want to be their best friends. We want to be the call you make to show up to your wedding. You'd be surprised at things that I talk about or have had to talk about with clients that had nothing to do with the actual deal or their business even.
So do your clients, they have like 24/7 access to you and your salespeople, or do you have like a limit, like, don't contact you these time periods, or how does that work with you?
We have unreasonable limits. So like, it's 24 if need be. We have to respect our bankers and their families and stuff. But like, I know for me personally, I mean, I'm just on call. Even a few weeks back, I had a client that was having a lot of anxiety about his business. He called on a Friday. I was with another client. I was like, he called at like 8 too. He was in Linwood. I was in Seattle at the time, not far from here. So, all right, I'm gonna finish up this dinner. I'm gonna come see you. I didn't get home that night. It's about 2:00 in the morning. And sometimes that's just part of the job. And that's just what it is. That's what makes us different though. Willing to be their best friend when they don't have one. And good luck finding that elsewhere. Cause I can tell you right now, most places, they wouldn't have answered the call because 8:00 on a Friday.
Yeah.
And then if they did, can just wait till Monday. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. I think that's reasonable. We're just unreasonable in how we want to serve our clients.
Do you think you'll be able to keep that mentality even when you become a $1 billion company?
100%. That's how you get there, in my opinion. Is it going to be like straightforward and easy? Of course not. But that's what makes us different, though. Most people just not willing to do that. That's where the sweet spot is. That's where the room is. That's how you make it. That's solving a problem. You know, that's the problem that we're solving, being their best friend.
Okay. So this is a new question I started asking people recently. So you have people, you have mentors, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Who are you mentoring?
I don't want to say their names, but 3 separate guys.
Okay.
3 separate guys.
And what ways are mentoring? Like sports athletes, finance people, or just general mentoring?
One athlete, one finance, actually one athlete, one finance, and one that's kind of all over the place.
and did these people reach out to you, or you found them, or how did this mentoring?
They reached out.
Okay. Like, how did they know who you were? Like, how did that?
One I've known since high school.
Okay.
Well, pretty much since high school. One I met at a political event, and the other one DM me.
Okay.
And because I talk to people. I know people think like I am busy, but like people think that people be intimidated to talk to me. I don't know why, but I'll talk to anybody. I talk to people in the store every day. I make it a point to do that. But no, when people reach out, I always respond. Always.
So these mentorship relationship, what's your goal for that? Like to begin making a certain level of success, or like what's success for you in these relationships?
It's all relative to what they do, what's success for them. Because I can't tell them, hey, you need to go to the Olympics, retire in your 20s, and then try to build $1 billion company. I would never tell. That's unrealistic. So it depends on where you have to meet people that are at, and they're all younger than me. So it's like, what is it that you're trying to do? Or maybe that's it. Maybe you need help trying to figure out what it is you're trying to do. That could be it in and of itself. But if they're already past that part, and they never are, because they're like 21, 22. Yeah. You don't know what you want. You think you do, but you don't know.
And you meet with them like once a month, or whenever they call you, you meet with them. How's that scheduled for you?
Definitely can't be whenever they call. I can tell you, it can't be that. But once a week, other two once a month. Yeah. And yeah, so it has to be relative to whatever it is that they're trying to do. And my job is like, hey, I've been there. I have an idea of what you're going through. You need to do X, Y, Z. You need to, and I'll know you did it because you'll be able to get X result. Let's check in next time. I'll check the progress on how close you've gotten to that. And that's it. I'm not the parent. I'm not judging them. It's not that. It's not that. It's just, hey, you need a sounding board. I've been through it. This is how I did it. This is what I think you should do. What do you think? Okay, well, let's try that. And we need to achieve this result. Next time we talk, we'll see where you're at.
And is 3 like your limit for mentoring people?
No, I'll take on more.
Okay. What is your limit, you think?
To be honest with you, ideally, like over 50, and I'll talk to them all at the same time.
Okay.
So then that way I can just focus on macro themes.
Okay.
Because what they don't realize is that if you got the good macro themes, that's all you need.
Okay.
That's all you need. That's really all you need. If you just focus on the big picture stuff, that's where culture gets instilled. I think that's all you need. Like, most people will feel weird saying Gary Vee is their mentor.
But he's a mentor to a lot of people. I mean,
yeah.
A lot of people, some people admit it, some people don't, but yeah, he's.
Exactly. If you watch his daily V's, especially from like back in the day.
Oh yeah. That's like golden shit. Like
the first 100 episodes specifically, I mean, do you need anything else? I mean, you can just watch it. It's in vlog format. I know y'all like to watch vlogs. Yeah. Don't say you don't. And
he talks the walk, he walked the walk, like.
Yeah, you can listen to the meetings. He talked to the camera. That's everything you need to know. In fact, you can make a business off of watching his first 100 daily V's, regurgitating stuff that he said up there, and just repackage it to younger people. You can make a business out of that alone. That's how good it is, and that's a form of mentorship. Yeah. But I know people, they're not going to look at it that way. They still want something that they think is specific to them. Yeah. Just so they can not do it anyway. But that's just kind of, it's,
yeah,
it is what it is.
So next, real quickly, let's talk about tattoos.
Yeah.
So how many tattoos do you have?
About 20.
20. Okay. Is one tattoo that's like really meaningful to you? Like,
yes, my hand one, with the line, because I got this at 21.
Okay.
Because I wanted to be unemployable.
So for the camera there,
yeah. I got that one at 21 because I wanted to be unemployable. Okay. And
so one more time.
I got the hand tattoo at 21 because I wanted to be unemployable.
Okay.
It was just a big bet on myself. I would recommend no one to do that.
Yeah. I remember back in the day, I was just say, only reason you should get a neck tattoo or hand tattoo if you're Allen Iverson or like Lil Wayne, right?
Yeah.
But now it's like become more common, so to speak, so.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't do that still. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be able to pull that off in my line of work. Yeah. The hand is really pushing it.
Yeah.
It's like really, really pushing it. But I overcompensate with that with how I dress in general.
Yeah. Or just do the line and turn over the Olympic rings and
yeah, there's that.
If you
too.
criticize Nick, what's about this one?
Sometimes I wish I didn't do the Olympic rings because I get stopped a lot for it. And I don't think people should put me on a pedestal because of the Olympics. Mm-hmm. I just don't think so.
I mean, like you said, you're one of the 1%. You achieve something like most people can't even dream of. The hard work,
but it's athletics, though. I maybe because I come from it, so I look at it differently. But I just don't value it the same way other people do.
I told you before, jokingly, if I was you, that would be tattooed on my forehead. Jokingly, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but you won't be that guy. But also, keep in mind that I would argue that what I'm attempting to do right now is much bigger than anything athletic related at all. So I just don't. If I was not to, I know coaches and I have peers who have ran and then went to be coaches, but let's just be honest. All right, if I ran track and then wanted to be a coach, this will be a different conversation
Mhm.
because my better days are behind.
Yeah.
It's just a fact, right? But I don't think that's me. That's not me. It's I just want to up the game that I'm playing. I want a bigger game, and because I just don't put too much weight on it. But the one, so the hand tattoo is the one that I would say I'm most proud of. But the one that I like the most is my back tattoo because I have
Okay.
a wolf howling at the moon.
So the wolf, that's the animal, like that's the spirit animal or something.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I never thought about that. Probably.
But then you have the lion too, so maybe the lion's your spirit animal.
Any animal or mammal that has passion, it just the same way that classical art, I just have a propensity, towards. It's the same for that, in my opinion.
So your parents done with tattoos, or you have some more planned down the road?
I'll probably get more, but I haven't thought about it.
Okay.
I haven't thought about it in a while. Damn. That's a good question. I haven't thought about that in a while. I don't know. I actually don't know.
Okay.
Probably though.
Yeah.
Probably.
Can you tell us what's the biggest deal y'all closed so far?
I can see the range
Okay, the range, yeah.
between 20 and 40.
Okay. So, and what's the smallest deal you closed
Oh,
in the range?
I can take the smallest one. It was like around, I think it was 500,000.
So is the work and the process in those two varying deals the same, but it's like a whole lot more time and commitment and stuff related the bigger the deal is?
It's generally about the same. But don't get me wrong. With the bigger numbers, you have to like
I guess more hand holding, way more customer service, I'm guessing, and like
there's that kind of stuff, but like you have to wear a nicer suit. You have to be more professional, right to the point. You have to handle it with more care. But like there's more paperwork involved. No, it's the same due diligence, but they need to trust you more because a $30 million fuck up different than a $500,000. It's just different. There's different players involved. But no, I mean, due diligence though is about the same though, surprisingly enough.
so where your company's at right now, financially, everything I've going on, is there a deal that you were like, man, that you'd be scared to take on?
Yes. Well, really no. But there's been a deal that we landed recently. Jason, I'm telling you, it is so far out there, and I can't speak to it, but like it's out there, the number. And I was kind of ambivalent because I'm like, this is what I've written down. I wanted to play in this game. But then once you're in the game, it's like running track. You want to be a professional all your life. All your life. This is what you want to do. Okay. My junior year, my first professional meet was in Jamaica. I'm looking around, I'm seeing some names that I have studied their races since high school. And it's like, you wanted this. Now you're here, what are you going to do? And I found myself in that position recently with this because, it's sometimes it can be so big that it's scary, but I love being scared. I'm a thrill seeker. I like that kind of stuff.
So Byron, is there anything that we have not talked about yet, or any questions I've not asked you yet that you want to talk about?
No, but I do have a question. What do you want to ask that's kind of like out there that you think is pushing the limits?
What do you mean? Like
anything you think that I'll be embarrassed to answer?
Oh, man, your the range of your annual income.
Yeah, I'm not answering that.
Okay.
but that's not because of embarrassment.
Yeah.
It would make professional sense for me to do that.
Yeah.
I do okay though.
Okay.
Especially for my age.
Yeah. Let me think what else. Okay, here's one. What's a goal that you thought you should have met by now, but you haven't?
Okay, as a kid?
Anything.
as a kid, I definitely thought I would be married with kids by now. I definitely thought that. But as a kid, you kind of you look at all ages differently. You look at 30 like it's stone ages. You look at 40 like you're retired. 20, as in like you're an adult and you're in the world doing stuff, and but yeah, I definitely thought I'd be married with kids by now. Um, I'll say this though, and I never talk about my love life ever, but I will say this though, that everything has worked out the way it was supposed to, like everything down to it, to the point where I'm going to stop even like taking stabs at what's supposed to happen. I'm gonna just have my plan and I know what I want. I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna see what happens, and I'm gonna change with whatever is in front of me. But yeah, man, I definitely thought I'd been married with kids by now. Especially when I was a kid, 100%.
Talk about this, like, it's not like, the more successful you're gonna get, the more people will be like out of your like your market, so to speak, right? Like example, if you're like a vice president of Amazon, you probably not gonna ask a lady, a Waffle House waitress for a date, right?
I would. I would personally.
But would you? Okay.
Yeah, because
So your market is still 100% complete open then.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, don't get me wrong. I don't expect the roles. I don't expect to be the same. The roles were reversed. If she was that Amazon exec and I worked at Waffle House, she's not gonna even look twice at me. I'm handsome, but I ain't that handsome. If all I care about is being with a good supportive person, a Christian, someone who's family oriented, that has an interesting look at the world, and was really supportive in what I am attempting to do for our family. That's it. It's someone I can trust. I say that's it. But those are big things though. But I don't care about career or any of the stuff. Actually, I got the career part. Like, listen, I'm all careered out. That career stuff, it already occupies my mind. I need someone I can trust and that we're on the same page with. And if she's a good person, a genuine person, a caring person, a warm person, and worked at Waffle House, cool. Let's do it.
Man, I said that, how often you go to Waffle House though?
Well, there's no Waffle Houses out here.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I always forget that. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say Denny's.
I'm a Waffle House guy.
Okay.
All right. I was in Texas a month ago. Definitely made my way to a Waffle House. Yeah. I love the chocolate waffles. I double it up with scrambled eggs with cheese, and I put the whole syrup thing on top.
Here's a funny story for you. So me and my family just came to Italy when I was in the army, right? So we were staying in my brother-in-law's house in Dallas, right? Or Grand Prairie, Texas, right? And my two kids at the time, they wanted to get some breakfast, right? And so Waffle House, like maybe a mile down the road, right? So we go to Waffle House. They order like the breakfast they have, like scrambled eggs, whatever. And my daughter was like, "Can I get a piece of cheese?" Well, don't ask the lady for cheese. Ask the waitress for a piece of cheese. This joker bought like a crafting of the plastic egg stand. My daughter.
Yeah, that's Waffle House. Yeah.
My kid look at me like, "What in the fuck is this?"
I'm surprised she didn't bring back like a piece of paper with the word cheese written on it.
I know, right? Yeah.
That's Waffle House. And she probably slammed it down with an attitude. Like
She did.
Yeah. That's Waffle House. But
My
that's why
kid
you
gave me
got
a Waffle House instant. Like, yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't been in a while prior to when I just went, because I've been out here. And I definitely noticed that the prices are different at Waffle House. Yeah. I'm like, damn, Waffle House is like, it became cool now. I remember when it wasn't cool.
I remember when the Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback won the playoff game. He went to Waffle House like 2 a.m. I thought that's pretty cool.
You think so?
And the thing about it, you're talking about, people that make money off Gary Vee's first 100 videos. You can make money just videotape in your local house and post it on, social media probably.
Listen, I've done my fair share of like in Austin, like 6th Street, and then Waffle House in Riverside around 2 o'clock in the morning. And you are guaranteed to see something interesting there. Yeah. It without fail.
It doesn't like the waitress there, they deserve like some kind of combat pay or something, like
they do serve, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy at Waffle House, especially at night. It's like Seattle.
Yeah, that's another topic. Exactly. So anything else you want to talk about? They ever covered?
No, we good. Actually, I'm surprised we it may not be surprising to you. I'm surprised we actually talked about track as much as we did. It's I haven't really talked about track
Yeah.
since I retired. I never made an announcement or anything.
Yeah.
I'm making an announcement of retiring from track soon.
Okay.
Now that I think, because I never even did it.
Yeah.
I just stopped running. I stopped running, went deeper into investment banking, didn't even look twice at it. But because of this and us talking about it, I'm going to make a retirement announcement of track. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Is there anything that I can ask you? You're the man. But let's get it. I want to get a few things out the way. I'm not successful, first and foremost. I'm just not. You're the man at this table right now. Like you're actually the cool one. You're the well-connected one. You're the, you know this though. You know this though. I mean, example by all of your guests.
Thank you.
It's an honor to sit across the table from you though. I appreciate this. But I'm definitely not the cool one at this table right now, for sure. No, I mean that though.
Cool. Can you give us any advice on anything you want to talk about?
Any advice?
Yeah.
Listen, it's hard to give advice because I never know what I'm talking about. I am trying to figure things out in real time. But if I was to give advice, I would tell someone, especially younger, because I have to focus on people younger than me. I see that's where the most growth is. People older than me already think they got everything figured out. And it's like, all right. Actually, younger people do too, but whatever. Just double down on something and don't give up. And that sounds basic, right? But it's not, because you hear this rah-rah stuff, and I'm a big rah-rah guy. Let's get it. Yeah, all right. I just want to be fair about that. I'm a rah-rah guy. I rah-rah with my team, people that I talk to. I'm a motivational guy. That's what I do. But you need to really double down on what it is, whoever it is. You need to double down on what it is you want to do and not give up. What does that look like? It means not going out, when everyone else is doing the cool thing. It's avoiding certain topics. And this is very easy to lean into. It's easy to talk about bullshit. It's just easy. It's very easy. It's avoiding certain topics, avoiding certain foods, like just really getting serious about what it is that you want to do. Most people aren't. Most people talk hard. They do the New Year's resolution. They work out for a week, give it up, drop the diet, hit the bottle hard, Netflix it up, gossip with the bros. What's the latest song? The bullshit. They're doing the thing. Andreessen Horowitz had to call it the thing with a capital T, the thing, right? Avoid all of that. Again, just to younger people, avoid all of that and just get busy. Get off Instagram, delete the app, get busy. Don't even look at what I'm doing, because I'm showing you stuff after the fact. Don't look at me thinking you getting like ideas of what my moves are. I'm showing you old stuff. All right. Don't track my moves. All right. Get busy. Start doing stuff. Like, stop overthinking it. Stop reading the success stuff, the memes and the billionaire pages. And I get it, because I love balling shit too. I love it. Jason, I was at a Porsche dealership today. All right. I ain't buying anything, but I'm just looking. I'm just looking around. All right. I like being around it in Bellevue. I like it. I get it. But to younger people, don't even worry about that. Just, if you have to, sleep on the couch, open up your book, write down your notes, write down your plan, pen to paper. That's the best advice I ever got, by the way, to write down my goals on a pen and paper with a 5-year plan. Hit up your 5-year plan, write down your goals, come up with a plan of action, do your 5 critical tasks, work out, stop gossiping, fix the diet up, get serious. We in it now. We're in the game now. Things are happening. Banks are failing. Things are happening now. People need to start getting busy. They need to stop gossiping. You need to get out of the minutia of like life. Stop chasing the girl. Stop arguing. Stop the ego fights with your boys. Stop all of it. Stop scrolling. Get busy. And everything will work out, in my opinion. And if there's anyone that's listening to this that's younger than me, or older, whatever. I don't have everything figured out. But if there's anything you think that I know, I would press upon them to please just reach out. I'll talk to anybody. Doesn't mean I'm always available, but whenever I can, I do respond, because there need to be more people that are getting busy. Not enough people are busy. A lot of people are just wasting time, bullshitting. Get busy. Double down. Get serious. We're in the game now. Things are happening. And just buckle up.
Byron, speaking of social media, can you give your social media so people can reach out
Yeah.
to you?
All my social medias are the real B swag with 2 G's. All of it. By the way, I had a marketing company that tried to suggest I change my name. I'm like, why the fuck would I change my name? This is my name. Like, this makes me me. I'm the real B swag. All right. It's you can't take my sauce. That's like decapitating me. What is that? But everything is the real B swag with 2 G's.
Nice. So Byron, thanks for doing this with me today. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure is all mine. Pleasure is all mine.
And to our listeners, thanks for your time as well. Remember to be great every day.
That was awesome.